Well, I accept both.
Hey, we're live. This is the hangout that I wanted to begin, but I wanted to begin earlier. But Skylar Fiction was going to have a conversation with Ozzy and many others about his conversation with what's his face, Matt Slick.
Yeah.
And so this is just a carryover from that. Consequently, Skylar came back from being absent like just a few moments ago. So I extended him an invite, and maybe we can actually kind of pick up the conversation. Right now it's just an open topic, just like last time. Maybe we can get a few theists in here. I will invite a few theists to kind of come in and chat, so we can have a mixed crowd. But other than that, if anybody else wants to come in and chat, I will put the link out there for you to find, and you will have to play Blue's Clues in order to find it.
I would ask something while you're still on Slick Thing, because I missed the first part of the hangout because I went and watched that. Did he actually get to address anything about it before he had to take off?
Wait, say it again?
Did Skylar actually get to address anything about the Slick hangout before he had to take off?
I think he had talked about it briefly. He had mentioned something specific about it, as far as the moral argument that Matt Slick wants to raise every time he encounters someone that he deems an atheist or someone who doesn't align. But it just kind of went into a whole moral landscape after that.
Yeah, he labeled the hangout something about objective and subjective morality, and was going to talk to Ozzy and I think have him explain it again. If anybody out there wants it, I think there's one on our Deeper Than Dogma channel that Ozzy goes into it. I know there's one on my channel, on the Xbox F channel, he goes into it, and there's one I think on actually Ozzy Mandiz's channel that he goes into it, and that's what I think Skylar was going to have an issue, and a lot of people have an issue with when Matt Slick brings up the statement or that moral problem he brings up with, is it always wrong for anyone to ever kill a baby purely for fun? Or sometimes it'll be torture
usually word.
Yeah. And sometimes it'll be for pure pleasure rather than fun. It's always some variant of that, and he tries to add the variants to lock you into admitting a moral universal, right?
And Skylar would not give him that.
At that point,
just assert that there was one. He just kept asserting, well, then you believe in moral absolute. And he's like, no, it's a straw man. I don't. Saying that to me it's always wrong, but that's just to me. Oh, well, now you didn't believe in a moral absolute.
And I don't think people should run from it being a universal, right? That's what I was bringing up with Ozzy in that last one. Is that there's a God doesn't have to be posited, and Skylar kept trying to ask Matt Slick that. Does it have to be external to me? Do I have to posit something externally for it to be a universal? And Matt wouldn't answer him. Matt just, and then Bible and Benwing kept jumping in at that point. And it's not. I don't think so many people should run, even if the terms are being used sloppily there instead of, what was the other one Ozzy used besides universal? But exceptionless. Yep. Even if those are being thrown around sloppily, I don't think you should necessarily have to run from that. Just because it's universal doesn't mean that there's something external making it universal to you.
I think it's the fact.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering if Tim noticed. I mean, if the reason he jumped in was, as Skylar posited, that he noticed that Matt was not doing well.
Well,
and
it seems
kind of a big deal on their show. Having him on the show gives him a lot of exposure, even though Matt's not all that important these days. But it's something. It's something.
Anytime Lenny jumps in, and I've made reference to this, Lenny jumps in to make sure that Matt's knob is wet, and that's. And I'm saying it, jokingly, but at the same time, the point that I'm making is that they only jump in when Matt is having difficulty answering a question or he seems a little flustered. It's not to just say, you know what, I agree with that and let me elaborate. No, they let Matt have free reign. They're just there to work the controls and to be his, foundation. But if they need his, Lenny's the fangirl. And then the big boss in charge is Bible Dumping Wingnut. And so that's their function. They're not actually there to contribute to the conversation.
Right.
And so that should kind of tell you how that environment is really conducive to having a conversation.
I mean, they're not even trying to. It's like they think that if they add more voices, then they win, so because more people there agree. Like, well, let me repeat what Matt said. Well, now I'll repeat what Matt said. Now do you get it? No, the first time Matt said it, and your repetition is just as wrong for the reasons I explained. Repeating it doesn't help.
I try to be conscious that on my own, as to not be like a bobblehead here when I'm in a hangout with someone, right? Like with you guys, we might agree on a lot of things, and I try not to just add my input as, yep, I agree. Yep. You know, like, I try to add something either from my experience or an analogy or something to clarify. I try to avoid that. It doesn't seem like they try to avoid it. It seems like you're saying that is their function.
Okay, let me get D in here.
Fine.
D. Yep, there she
is. If you'll put the link in the side for me, I'll pass it to Sokka, and then I'm not sure.
I could have sworn he was like one of the first people. I always invite Sokka, even though he didn't invite me to Dogma Debate.
I don't know what our next week topic is, but I'll make sure you get an invite for it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make it make like regular appearances on shows if I can, if people value my input.
Yeah, that's when I told you people gave you compliments the other night after you left. I told them, I was like, he has a good following. He's just been in between job and getting resettled and reestablished. He's starting to be on more and more.
Yeah, I'm going to start making some more videos, kind of just my thoughts on things. And I'll try not to make it just a rehash of shit that I've already said. But I'm definitely going to have to get... my wife took my computer chair. It's one of the main things. She has it for her job. So that's why you see me in the dining room area. That chair is incredibly uncomfortable. And so I've started to kind of move into the living room. To a more comfortable environment, but yeah. I'm going to invest in a lazy boy recliner.
Yeah, I saw you moving couch to couch and stuff.
Well, that's the one thing, I enjoy having stable income now, but I would also like to not be in pain every day.
Right.
Oh man, let's see. Let's get some more people in here. I'm not sure what Theus I could invite. Well, I did invite Peripheral Prophet. I think he's one of my first go-to, just to have some general conversation without a whole lot of fuss, but a good, maybe rebuttal that isn't just all huffle and fluff of the Bible.
Did Seamus?
That reminds me, you should definitely invite Arcane because he's very even, level-headed, and always has a great discussion.
Oh yeah, he should be around too. I had him in this morning. He should be around.
I'll invite Arcane. Why not?
It'd be fun to poke the bear a little bit. Well, he's not much of a bear. He's much of a weasel. Just poke the weasel with a pointed stick.
I've been having some good conversations with Veckel lately, actually.
Oh no, yeah, that's who it started. Like, if you saw my hangout last night.
For forever.
My hangout that had Negation of P last night, right? I woke up this morning to everybody still in my room. It was Negation, Veckel, Arcane ended up coming, and then Jesus DiCaprio came in and started in with, yeah,
oh, man,
with that crazy talk, and Arcane's backing him up, and so I started backing him up too, and
yeah, I can't do Hoteps. I'm sorry.
No, he brought that up. Arcane at least brought that one up on the side for D, and at one point I swear Jesus was trying to argue that black Africans came up with open heart surgery and open brain surgery before brains and hearts existed.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like something a Hotep would say. It doesn't have to make sense. Just think of something incredible. Say black people invented it, even though there was no such thing as black people until imperialism, and then just watch him attribute it to them. And if you really want to piss Hoteps off, say that Africans practice homosexuality before Europeans
racist, Dreadnought.
They invented everything for that.
Everything except homosexuality, and just that
racist.
Severely.
What's this guy's name again? Hotep?
Okay. I had to type it in the side because it's actually, that's part. It's a derogatory term.
That's what they were. Oh no, but they were talking about somebody called Imhotep or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay, you have to go to Urban Dictionary.
That's the guy's real account name. That what they're talking about is.
Yeah.
Okay, I put it in the external chat.
Yeah, but Jesus seems to be jumping all over the place. So.
Jesus DiCaprio, yeah.
That's the guy. Oh, I heard he's kind of been marginalized when he got completely destroyed on like a several-hour broadcast. Just the whole time, apparently, he got his ass kicked.
Well, he did, and he took the video down, right? But someone was able to grab a chunk of it before he did, and they posted it up.
Yeah, Sean G did, I believe.
Sean, yeah.
God, I love the internet. I really do.
Yeah, if I put it in the external chat, if you put that into Urban Dictionary, you'll kind of see what I'm saying. That hoteps are really, really funny, and I can let me show you a screenshot of one. Actually,
Here's the thing I love about. Oh, go ahead, Dee.
Jesus was complaining that we weren't proving any evidence for the claims we've made, and none of us had made any claims. We were just asking him to provide some links to back up what he was saying.
Yeah, and he said he wasn't going to provide us any links or any things or any backup because we'd all reject it.
Yeah, that's a good reason not to provide contrary evidence. Like, oh, we'll just ignore it anyway. Now, there is some truth to that. If you've actually given that person that evidence multiple times and they refuse it, like, okay, I'm tired of searching for links for you. You've ignored all the other ones.
The issue with Hotep...
With Trey, you can just link something and nothing ever happens from it.
No, that's exactly it. That should tell him something. If he's having to assume that about people that he hasn't given the link to yet, that means that so many people have looked at his links and rejected the shit out of them that he's not even going to try anymore.
Yeah, Jesus will walk you through his stuff. It takes 3 and 4 hours to do that, and I've done that with him. And then when you reject it all, he just finally will flip out, and eventually it's just like a flamethrower war at the end. That's how it ends.
Yep.
It started off without asking for a link, and his reaction was, well, you're not just going to bother with the links I post anyway. And I was like, because I didn't know I was quite interested in what he was talking about. I know, laugh at me, I don't care. I was interested because I didn't know what he was talking about.
No, I was the first time too. Absolutely.
So I was quite interested that he decided that obviously we must all be just like Art and not really want to look at the links because we were making these claims that we weren't providing evidence for, even though we weren't making any claims. It's like,
Yep. And see, Art's been with it through. Actually, I think Art and I went through it with him for the first time a long time ago, and that's why Art was automatically rejecting all this crap.
Well, I guess I'm bigoted then because I don't take grown men seriously who dress up like Power Rangers, and they're not doing it for cosplay. That's just me. I cannot take Hotep seriously.
I don't know what that word means. I thought he was a black Hebrew Israelite.
That's our derogatory term for Hoteps. That whole phrase is a derogatory term.
And he used to deny.
Really? Yes.
Here's your
Urban Dictionary racist because he hates black people.
He used to actually get mad if you called him a black Hebrew Israelite. He'd be, no, there's only Hebrew Israelites. Yes, I'm black, but don't use that term in there.
Oh, I see the full
thing. Any white Hebrew Israelites that are rocking theology?
Yeah, you have all the Urban Dictionary link there. It gives a little rundown.
Yeah, they're
not a nice term.
That's the Hotep link.
I mean, I'll get some angry messages later, but I don't care. They're stupid. I mean, that's pretty narrow-minded of me. But I've never seen one that has presented a good argument. There's stages of what I like to call black enlightenment, where you kind of break away from religion and then you say, okay, there are these things outside my fucking family beliefs that are actually out there that are objective, and I can refute them if I want to. There are things that are verifiable and falsifiable, and so you go from that to kind of becoming a skeptic. Other people go straight to Black Hebrew Israelite, where they adopt this identity where it's kind of a really a super version of Pan-Africanism, and you feel this connection with all people of color, but then you get this idea in your head that becomes something akin to race superiority. And it's more closer to the Nation of Islam mindset than anything else. And it's a really weird, combination of beliefs. But I don't like them.
Here.
You have to go to the Urban Dictionary
so
definition.
He's not a Christian. He's not a Christian.
No. They're. I mean, Arcane he's a weird version of Hotep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just It says they call them Hotep niggas. Not ER but A. And yeah, like Christ was a fictional character, created by the white man to enslave you. Hotep.
Yeah, he is religious.
There's someone explaining how that's not the case, and they respond with lies. It's a white man book. White man book. White man. Hotep.
Yeah.
That's
we can see in history that Christianity does get wielded for the defense of slavery, absolutely, but that does not necessarily mean that was Christ's message. That's a perversion of his message. So I would give him that, but
for slavery justification, I think the Quran does a much better job because it can be used like today.
No, yeah, this is true.
It is used today. Actually.
Why'd you take those people off the ship? Well, the book says we can't. Oh, okay.
Well, hey, that was an argument put forth against Matt Slick at the end of the one with Skylar. I forget who it was. It was Paulie, I think, who was arguing it with him. If any of y'all remember him, but he was putting forth that he thinks that how can you distinguish between the Bible being misused now against homosexuality as the ones that misused it against slavery? Why? If you were in the South saying that slavery was biblical and using the Bible to back it up, the people in the North would have said, well, you're not a real Christian. But the Christians in the South would have said the ones that are against slavery in the North aren't the real Christians. And using that as an analogy against Christians that are against homosexuality, and then for the ones that are okay with it. Or gay marriage, I guess would be.
Hotep.
Don't do that. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I've been getting a lot of heat lately. To make matters about me again, Matt Slick's followers are not happy with me. I literally wake up every day to a new comment with somebody who is severely pissed off.
If it wasn't for the pickle man, I'm telling you.
Well, you did do like 9 hours.
Yeah, they mentioned you on
that
that Hangout, Drag. They mentioned about the 9 hours you had done, and they were asking Skylar if he was part of it.
Skylar came in like, were you part of that? Grr.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't he say it was something about it was a critique, but something about it was probably a good critique, but the graphics we could have done without.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what he said.
I love the title of the last Hangout, Gay America. Like, I don't forget.
Yeah, I had a question for you, Drag. I couldn't participate because of the graphic. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, Drag, was your intention, going into that to actually have an honest analysis of what he had to say, or was it just kind of like just poking fun,
Well, it started as a genuine analysis of what was being said. The fact that the pickle came up, I want to say maybe halfway through the first one, was that it looked like he was, when I say he, Matt Slick was doing something really odd with his hands, and so he'd make these gestures that, something like this, and like, it was really fun if he had a prop there. And so 13 Heathens went, oh, I actually do have a prop, and just hold on a second. So we're like, oh, that's funny, and so we kept it there, and so as we're doing a critique, it stays there, unless somebody else comes on the screen, then it moves. But I understand. Even when I was typing this to Arn Raw, I was like, there's a kind of a childish, little immature, prop there, because of the way he's sitting, and just to provide, some humor that. There is a pickle there. It's a gherkin pickle. It's not a penis. But for all intents and purposes, it is a phallic symbol, and I know some people may find that offensive. I'd find it pretty funny. But it should not have taken away from the fact that we're still doing analysis of what's being said. If they watch one of my videos and put a dunce cap on me and critique me, I'm not going to focus on the dunce cap and go, wham, boo-hoo, let me piss in the corner, because I see a graphic on the screen, and there are people that are taking apart my argument because it's a shitty argument.
Well, I have to tell you, from a colorblind person point of view, and as a thumbnail, that thing looks like a BBC. It does not look like a pickle.
Can you explain for D what a BBC is? Because I don't think she understands.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big black hawk.
Yeah, I know. At first I thought, why are you referring to the BBC? And then I kind of realised the context.
I had that issue last time.
I see. Yeah.
Does the British Broadcasting System have to? Okay.
Company.
Well, not everybody knows the terms and stuff like that. I mean, it's just like Roy when I had him call me the D when he went on in his little hangout that he did.
I'll be honest, I had to Google that as well and find out what it is. It's quite an education coming on this internet, isn't it? Not a good education, but an education.
And this is why we love having D around.
We do? We love having her around? When did this fucking start?
What's that? And the nickname, right? Shut up, D.
We like having D around, yes or no?
Maybe.
Oh, wait,
Damn
sorry.
it, wrong answer.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. Only 12th grader questions here. This is first grader stuff.
Was it is it shut up D or shut the fuck up D?
No, that's reserved only for Max.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, I was under the impression that it was shut the fuck up. I'm sorry if I was overly offensive then.
Oh, it's okay.
No, you're not.
I am ish.
That's just when she's in trouble.
Well,
like
yes or no?
It's like using someone's middle name, right? It's just when she's in trouble.
Where's Fabio at? I want to invite Fabio.
Yeah, he was around earlier, or at least in text.
He's modeling somewhere, you know.
Great.
There we go. I'm gonna invite Fabio. I like having him. I like having Fabio here because he says things and it's an Italian accent and it's funny.
I'll drop him a link on Skype.
So you're just using him for his accent. Does he know this, Drag?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's probably why I get invited in.
Yeah, I was just gonna say use D for the same. Oh, there we go.
Okay, G-Man. I see that you put maybe on here, G-Man, and I got a notification this morning. So G-Man, you better pop in here. I know you're watching, by the way, guy.
Fabio.
I heard something in a previous chat. You wanna elaborate for us?
I sent G-Man some money and he cashed it today. I got a notification. People have been sending me messages. Okay, I told G-Man he could have the money in my Patreon. It wasn't a lot of money. I would have ended up spending more money to send the little bit of money, and it wouldn't make much sense. So I multiplied some of that money, then sent it to him to help him get his computer fixed or whatever. Or if he wants a cheeseburger or an actual Philly cheesesteak or whatever. So that's what I did. And even though I said I was spending the money on fishing supplies.
I was just gonna say really quick, the gherkin, the pickle did polarize. I mean, like it's sort of like, well, I kind of at the very end, I did hop in and I was debating about that because I can't participate in that. Like, I mean, as much as I disagree with how Matt Slick goes about things, we're still Christians, and then we can't participate in it. We feel, like, what I mean. And so what it'll do is it'll polarize. Which, I mean, it's fine if your audience is just atheists, but if you want to engage with theists, we can't participate in that.
I agree with you. I do.
Okay, and I understand that, and that's why I let Arn Raw know that there is something on there, a prop that we're using just for comedic value, and I probably won't include it next time. That's something that I was kind of debating with myself about. Maybe we should make him a special dunce cap, or just leave props out of it. But that's it's just, it comes down to personal taste. But I don't begrudge anybody for not wanting to be a part of the phallic symbol that just so happened to be really near his mouth. But yeah, once I kind of get an idea of what I want to do more with my channel, I'll start pinning down on what will actually be the norm or the standard as far as some of those videos. But I think we are going to do, and I say we, hopefully Shadow Heathens is somewhere around here, that we will do the Gay America critique, and it'll be kind of more to the point than actually just kind of poking fun at Matt Slick for having funny hand gestures.
I don't know if anyone wants to add anything to that.
There's plenty of value in his crap that you can probably get away with no props after you get settled, like you said.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Drag, about comedic value, but at the same time, if you want people to take you seriously about your critique, if you want to make really good points and counterpoints to the person you're talking about, that turns a lot of people off, and they just switch off. So that's what I would say about it.
No, you can't have it both ways. I mean, you can be good at comedic value, and you can make a good job of it, or you can engage in a different way. But it's really tough to have both ways,
Agreed.
I think there's an underlying frustration, like, from one side and the other, because when a theist argues with a theist of another religion, the arguments are much more intricate to their belief system of theology, and then where all their truths, quote unquote truths, lie, whereas our questions tend to remain the same across the board, as it were. I think that's the difficulty.
Interesting point.
No, that's why I think that making a good video with a good comedic value is way more difficult than making a proper response. Because you're working with the same material, and you always have to find new angles and do something funny and something new. While if you do something a little bit more serious and engaged, 90% of the times you will still answering the same questions in a proper way. I'm not dismissing that, but if it's the same question, it is going to be the same answer. While it doesn't work if you want to do something, more hedgy, or so. Yeah.
I don't know. There's a saying that in order to get respect, respect must be given. So if you want to be a debater in that sense, then that's what you do. Now, if you want to be like the old show Talk Soup, or Mystery Science Theater or something like that, well then that's another way of go about it. But one will probably get Christians to participate in, and the other one will not.
Sure. No, I agree with you, Deirdre. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not I'm not thinking about crass laughs just for laughs. I'm thinking about if you want to do something like that properly and serious, you got to think through, and make something new every time. I mean, if you're going for the cheap laughs, yeah, but it's not really that funny. After a while, it gets really boring.
I watched a good portion of the Gay America thing, and I think there's a lot of things that should be brought to light with regards to what Slick said, stuff that needs to be addressed, because I think some of the things that he did say in that video are ridiculous beyond belief. So
yeah, there is that. I mean, just the title Gay America, I mean, if someone would have thought through, it would have been really tough to come with something that stupid, but it was, brilliant. And his insanity was brilliant,
It sounds like the name of
if you want to make a comedy video, Gay America, I mean, how did I miss that title? And they got them. So this is what I say when I say it's really difficult to make something, hedgy and funny.
Hey, Sokka, did you catch the Slick video, the Gay America one?
No, I just watched the Skylar portion of it.
Okay, hey, watch right after that. Like, our boy Keefe's was in there, and you actually get to see how much soaked in from the hangout that we had with him, and then the after show that we had with him on the Deeper Dogma, on the gay marriage issue. A lot of it actually soaked in with him because he was bringing it up too slick.
I feel bad for Keefe's right now because now he's got fundies on his back. And before he had secular people going, I'm so disappointed in you. I thought you were a little bit different, and now I don't even want to watch your videos anymore. And then you have people that are fundamental going, oh, you're not fundamental enough.
Yeah.
And so I like the guy. I like Keefe's. I thought his debate channel idea was amazing, and I still think that could have taken off. And I think he's a cool dude. It just. People need to give him a chance. He's only 20 years old. He's 20 years old.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's quite young, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what that was.
Yeah, but there's another way of looking at this. Is that at the end of it, he's going to come out more experienced, more knowledgeable, as it were, of everything. I say everything. The within the context of what we're discussing, and I only see that as a good thing.
That's the thing too. Is he didn't just ditto what we had talked about on the Deeper Than Dogma after. Like he had actually thought about it because it was his own words that he used on when he was talking to Slick. He had thought through maybe the ideas that we'd put out there or things he hadn't thought about before.
I personally enjoyed the exchange between Slick and Polymath. I thought that was very insightful towards the end there.
Yep. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I couldn't remember his name except for Poly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from Polymath in forever.
He's usually on DPR's show, isn't he?
I think there's some things that Slick does very well. His exegesis, some of it's good. Some of it is pretty standard doctrine, and if you want to dig into that stuff, that's fine. But then when it comes to debate, I don't like his tactics. And I think that's okay to not like someone's tactics. I don't like Psi 10's tactics either because he's proud that he isn't engaging. He's just proud that he shuts mouths. So again, it's a tactic that I don't really care for.
It's the narrative I don't like.
I really don't know, Deidre. It's an honest question. You said it's standard exegesis according to which doctrine? Because I really don't know.
Well, he's pretty straight up Calvinist. So I mean, I don't.
Okay.
I'm not a Calvinist, but like if
no, got it.
He pretty much aligns with most Calvinists I know.
Thank you.
So, to completely change the subject, what's atheism is unstoppable been up to?
That's random.
Yeah, that is random.
It was on the side chat.
You know, some people have made comments about atheism unstoppable to his position on certain issues and whatever, and you know, I just this idea that you have to either love or hate everything that somebody does. You know, Atheism Unstoppable has made a lot of really good videos. He has. He's also made some shitty videos. Okay, I mean, and they're not necessarily shitty videos in the sense that they're like completely out of this is crazy talk, but it's just certain positions that I just don't agree with.
Right.
I'm not going to hate the guy because of it. I'm not going to unsubscribe from him because of that. Like Keefe's the other day. Like there was people that made the comment under Keefe's things. It's like, Keefe, I thought you're one of the better people. I'm going to unsubscribe from your channel. Well, why are you subscribed to his channel in the first place? Because you like some of the stuff that he has to say. The fact that there's some stuff out there that you might not agree with. Who cares? And I think that entire kind of polarized, this attitude where you have to either love everything that somebody does or hate everything that somebody does is just ridiculous. I mean, Dee said it before. She hates Psi 10 atheists, or not hates. She dislikes the humor in that. I
don't appreciate his humor.
Yeah, you don't appreciate the humor. I enjoy most of the humor. I enjoy most of Psi 10 atheist stuff. There's some stuff where I watch it and doesn't tickle my fancy and be like, whatever, and other stuff that's just like, okay, I was kind of stupid. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm not going to unsubscribe from his channel just because there's a couple things that I didn't like.
Right. Well, and just you and I, Sokka, there's a couple things we vehemently disagree on, right?
Yeah,
that's not going to stop us from
hanging
out.
But wait a minute, you guys are enemies, aren't you? I mean, you fucking hate each other, don't you?
Sworn
X and I? Oh shit, yeah. Me and X disagree on just about everything.
Well,
yeah,
X doesn't even think Sokka exists.
Yeah, see?
It's really hard. It's really hard to maintain this. It's really hard to maintain this relationship when he doesn't even think that I'm a part of it.
My wife might kind of made the same argument, and she kind of smacked me on that because of it.
Kevin, we all hate each other. We have no moral standards, so it's really.
I hate you most though because you're.
Oh yeah, fuck you. Yeah.
Well,
sorry about
fuck you too.
Hold on, the guys. In all fairness, you guys can't hate each other because you have no standard of hate.
Oh.
No, you're right. Well, as a matter of fact, I despise you. So yeah, it's not hate. I just.
Okay, well that's better. Yeah, in that case, that's okay.
See, amongst Christians, when one of us acts like a douchebag or an idiot, we have to be like, "Well, I got your back, brother."
I mean, again, so like last night we were in this hangout with a couple people, Stizor, Patrick, Xbox, myself. Who else was there? Ozzy was there for a while, I mean, it was on it started off on Stizer's channel, then went on to Xboxes afterwards. And there was things that Stizer said that I disagreed with, and it's like, okay, well, listen, this is why I disagree with what you're saying. Like I want to lay this out here. And, and it's not because, I disagree adamantly with his position, and it's not because, I'm trying to be confrontational or anything there. It's just listen, I recognize an error in what you said, or that's something that I perceive as an error. Let's talk it out, because talking it out either strengthens both of our positions. But some people just don't want that.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But yeah, Stars is a classic example of he can be really great fun. I enjoy his company. Every now and again, I could really do without his company when he's in a certain mood.
Just don't argue.
But that doesn't mean Yeah. And I'm not talking behind his back, because I've said it even more bluntly to his face. So
well, I don't consider anything behind his back, because it's just fucking live.
Well,
Synthesizer.
He's a feisty one, Sty. He's a feisty one. And sometimes we get along and we laugh, and sometimes we fight. He's a feisty one.
Fucking feisty. What might? You what might? What?
Well, and a lot of his comes down to just actually misunderstanding him, right? Because he talks in such abstract sometimes that it doesn't seem like he's actually keeping up with the convo. When he's making sense in his own head, he's just having a hard time conveying it to you. But then there's times where he's completely uncharitable and hard to get along with. And,
Yeah, the extent of the conversation I've had with him, and I've had with other atheists as well, is that when you cannot just deny a priori, any type of theistic claim out there. A priori, sorry. If you fear that the conclusion is going to be God, that doesn't give you the right to just say that their argument is bollocks. If you think that the argument is bollocks because it ends with that conclusion, whatever, address the argument. Okay, what's wrong within the premises that they're laying out here that you disagree with? And his objection essentially that I disagree with the conclusion. Okay, well, why?
But you'll walk down the exercise at least. See, I've run into some people, and
not always.
I won't go by names, but I've run into people in Nadia's chat, and they become boring. Usually they're materialists. They're materialists that just become extremely boring because they can't do anything in the existential. And they're just like, show me your evidence, show me your evidence, show me. Eventually, it's just like, I just.
Well, there's your first error, Deidre. You're in Nadia's chat. So.
Oh, that's not fair. Nadia's chats. There's some good stuff in Nadia's chats. Unfortunately, there's a lot of other stuff as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will continue to defend Nadia's chats until the end of my days. As long as there is someone out there with a 24/7 live hangout, open room sort of thing. It's become a bit more moderated recently, but. I understand for the flow. But yeah, I'll praise that till the end of my days. I think that Nadia's room is brilliant.
Well,
you get some very interesting chats in there.
What's hard is to have good content for a long time. And so her chats are very long, 8 hours at a time. And it's a lot easier to have better, richer content in a short amount of time. So once in a while you have to dig for gold in there, because it's always there.
Yeah, I'm not going through an 8-hour hangout to find.
Yeah, I don't think that they're Nadia's Hangouts are the kind of thing that you watch afterwards, unless you really have a lot of time on your hands. Nadia's Hangouts are the thing that's okay, I'm sitting down at the computer, I got nothing else to do. Let's put some background noise on, and sometimes it's just oh wow, this is a really good conversation. There was a really good conversation the other day that I was kind of tuning into when I was cooking between it was Floyd and Jimmy Stevens, and it was a great conversation. And unfortunately, I've lost it because it is lost within the. I'm not going to go back and search for it. I remember that roughly that it was Sunday around dinner time. I remember that much.
Good luck. Even that's hard to find, though, right? Even that hangout, because there'll be 3 that within that 24-hour period.
Yeah, timestamps, or it didn't happen.
I think if somebody wants a really good channel idea, I think someone should sift through all of Nadia's Hangouts and pull out the good bits and put it into a different channel.
I've asked her if I had permission to do that, and she said I did. And so, it would be, I would do the best of Hillbilly.
Anybody feel free that wants to do it on my
Best of Hillbilly?
Oh yeah, but Hillbilly
Isn't that
definitely
an
needs his own. No, he needs his own section because there's a lot of us disagree
It does
with
need
him.
to be sectioned. Oh, sorry, that's not what you said. Beg pardon.
But I'd
Sorry,
also there is gold once in a while. I would say Jimmy Stevens and Floyd would probably be very interesting. I missed that one, but I bet that was very interesting. Once in a while you'll find some interesting moments. There was a couple moments with Shamos that were interesting, and trying to think who else, but every so often you'll run into some gold, either on social issues or more philosophical issues, or even the meaning of
Sure.
of God and why it matters, and it's
I've had
varied.
tons of good. I've had tons of good convos and seen tons of good convos in hers. And anybody that in the audience here that wants to go through my channel and do the same through my 8-hour hangouts, feel free, because that was my plan to begin with. And it's just, and I don't even do near as many as her, but I do as long, and there's no way I'm gonna even go through my own crap to do it.
But you have no problem telling other people to do it for you, right?
No, I'm saying if they feel free if they want to. It's a lot of work.
This is why I love people like Skylar, because he goes through other people's videos that I don't want to watch and pulls out the best bits. Like, thank you, Skylar. Yay!
Oh yeah, he's my hero for that.
Oh, I am known for fighting with Hillbilly, so no, don't misunderstand me, Alex. I don't mean best of Hillbilly, like I think it's
Do I
great,
know you
but...
didn't, darling?
No, we got what you meant by the best of. Trust
Well,
me.
the funniest bits or the most, yeah.
How to run into Hillbilly.
Yeah, I was in a hangout some time ago, and two people were shouting at one person. Well, one was speaking loudly and the other was shouting. And I'm like, oh, stop shouting, stop shouting. And then Christian Hillbilly came in and I started shouting at him. And even as I did it, I thought, you bloody hypocrite. And I just thought, I didn't. Oh, oops.
Whoever is the loudest wins. It's like dogs, man.
It does feel like that sometimes.
I really, that's one of the things that I don't like about having to do when I do go to Nadia's chats. And well, I've noticed for the last probably 2 weeks that as soon as I come in, she gives me mods. I'm not sure why. She hadn't really said why, but I just take it.
You're rational.
Well, I can be. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm the most, because I will, like when Neff did it, the fucking, Sokka was there when he tried to literally overtalk everybody each time someone else talked. So I did the one thing that I hate about my mother is that she has the same line that she'll say over and over and over again.
I heard you.
It's fucking annoying, and that really pisses me off. So I was like, I'm going to do that. And it worked, and I'm like, wow, that I see why she does it now. So,
what we've seen over and over again.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious.
I was like, oh, I can do this all day long, Nephilim free. I don't give a fuck. I can keep talking over you. I can literally do this all night. It is this easy. I can literally sit here all night and get paid to talk over you again.
He didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
he didn't know what to do. I watched it. He was like, and he kept rambling as you were saying that, and then he'd stop for a second, and you were still going, and he'd start again for a second, and then he'd stop, and then finally he just got quiet. It was like a little kid just finally giving up. It's like
it's exhausting to do that. My wife's just sitting on the couch looking at me like, what the fuck, dude? Really? What's going on? And so she understands what I have to deal with. I will turn the volume up on I'll switch the volume. I'll have it streamed through my laptop, and then have my mouse or my mic activated by my headset, so she hears what goes on. And then she heard Roy go through his rant, and she was just bewildered. Like she like, why do you even talk to him? And I was like, I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's a compulsion. And what I wanted to do is get my mom, and actually I think I'm gonna try and call her right now, and like run her through, and put her on speakerphone, and run her through like a Royism just to see how she'll respond to it.
I don't know your wife, but you should really listen to her a little bit more, and you already know that.
I should, but I don't. I'm a bad husband.
Well, it is a compulsion sometimes, and sometimes it leads to other conversations and other crap that is working.
Pick up your phone.
Hey, how you doing?
Alright, just getting ready to go to Walgreens. I gotta get this phone charger. Mine's broke at the house.
Okay, hey, do you mind being recorded, like where people can hear you?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
Well, I'm on a live show.
Why?
I'm on a live show right now, and I'm hosting, and people are watching me talk to you on the phone.
Okay.
I wanna walk you through a scenario. There's somebody we talked to named Roy, and he is under the impression that he can say whatever he wants to you, no matter how condescending, no matter how demeaning it is, and you don't have a right to be upset by that, or rather, you don't have the right to deem him a bad person. And his position is that you just need to view him in a positive light in order to resolve the conflict, because he believes that he should not have to change his behavior.
Well, that's very immature, because we're human beings with souls and hearts and spirits. And if you say something negative that's demeaning or can hurt one's feelings, that's a very shallow person, because that to me means the person really doesn't have a heart. He lives like there's no consequences to his action.
Well, consequently enough, he believes in Jesus, and he is a Christian. He claims.
No, that's not a Christian. He's a pretender. You know, there's a lot of pretend Christians, but a real, true Christian would never say anything, or would definitely try not to say anything to hurt another one's feelings, because we're all supposed to love each other and respect each other. You know, and if you say something negative, it's not one of those situations where you would say, "Oh, just get over it." No, if you hurt my feelings, or you said something negative or demeaning to me, I'm going to take offense to it. And I'm human, and I'm supposed to take offense to it. And if we can resolve it, we can resolve it. But, you know, that comes from communication. There's no one-sided issue.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. Tasha was wondering why I even talked to him, because I turned him up so Tasha could hear me speak to him and everyone else, and so we spent probably 30 minutes on my show trying to figure out why he has this position, and I just kind of wanted to pose it to you just to make sure, you know, we weren't going crazy, because we were just, you know, calling him an asshole for saying that.
No, well, you know, people can say they're Christians, but a really true Christian would do just the opposite, would show love and respect and communicate in a positive tone. To intentionally say something to hurt one's feeling is not only rude, but it shows, you know, that person must have a shallow outlook on his own life, because usually people who say something negative and know they're saying something negative, they really have, you know, like, it's almost like a self-hatred of themselves.
Yeah,
and
Matt Bell.
They say things in a negative connotation to make themselves look good. But it's only to them. You know, it's only to them.
I would have to agree with you. I think one of the people that people can hear you, and one of them has a question. Deidre, she can't hear you, but I can. If you ask me, Deidre, I can relay it.
Okay, Dragnot's mom. My question is: people are responsible for their own emotion and feelings. Yes or no?
Okay. The question is: people are responsible for their own emotions and feelings. Yes or no?
No. People are responsible. Human beings are responsible for their own feelings and the feelings of others. If you've got any shred of human dignity and human compassion.
Okay. I think that's a fair answer. All right, I appreciate it, Mama. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, love you.
Love you too.
Bye-bye, Maximum.
I mean, I mostly agree with your mom that, like, most of us should speak from a place of love and respect and all that. I think the only thing is that sometimes you do have to get really direct, and sometimes if you are trying to be as careful as you can, there's a likelihood that you will still offend and you still hurt people's feelings, even if that's not your intent. And so again, I think that while I do understand what she's saying, at the same time, it's impossible to be completely responsible for everybody's emotions.
Yeah, I think there are exceptions to that, because there are some people who are just going to take offense to something, no matter what's done or what's said. That's I think we all know someone like that.
I think, given the context in which she was asked that question off the cuff without expecting it and actually being in the discussion, I thought she gave most excellent answers.
Well, I just threw in yes or no because of Roy, but you know.
That was really mean.
I thought it was a shit answer, and I think that she doesn't know what she's talking about.
That's fine. But see, the thing about my mother is she would just say, okay. All right.
I'm joking.
No,
that just shows you're not a Christian there, Sokka.
Yeah.
That's obvious.
But I also did that too for people who were claiming at one time I wasn't raised a Christian. Now, the woman that you just heard has a strong belief in Christianity. She raised me along those lines, which I thank her for. We just disagree, and our morals are pretty much still aligned around the same set of I guess of objective standards that some of us all share as human beings. But there's a lot that kind of overlaps, whether it's of a religious backing or not.
No, I understand that. I had the same relation with my mother when she was alive, so I totally understand you. Yeah.
Listening to your mom drag, I wish more people in this community that label themselves believers would take what she has to say to heart. This idea that you essentially just act instead of just preach. I mean, if more Christians in this community would act the way your mother said, just a very loving tone, not returning anger for anger, I would have so much more respect and listen more intently to people who actually follow that principle. But there's exceptions.
I'd be very wary of that, Kevin, because one thing I've come from my own understandings, the notions of love in theology differ very greatly from my own.
No, I don't think that's what Kevin was saying.
No, I don't think.
No, of course not.
Have you read Corinthians 13? How different is that?
I absolutely, I agree. That's not what she was saying. But I'm referring to some of the people who espouse the beliefs they do. If they were to simply act instead of come on here and question and argue, I think we would be in a worse state in some cases.
Well, no, I understand.
The vast majority would, get rid of that, obviously.
No,
sorry.
I understand you, and I don't want to speak for Dragnel's mother, but what I felt really close to mine, and the fact is that there are some people out there which they don't really care about proselytizing. They just believe in what they believe in, good faith, and they just do good things, and they do good things because they believe. Yeah, I mean, more power to them. That's my position. It's always been so, and these are the people which which are fascinating me, but not because they believe, because they can do good stuff, and.
I think what you witness sometimes with Christians and their definition of love is this idea of notion of tough love, and that tough love is like the father that doesn't spare the rod,
But it doesn't work.
What love is.
It doesn't
But Corinthians 13 says love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it's not boastful, it's not arrogant, it's not rude, it does not insist on its own way, it's not irritable, it's not resentful, it doesn't rejoice in wrongdoing, but it rejoices in truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends, but as for prophecies, they come to an end, and as for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. So I don't know. And it also goes on to say, if you don't have love, you're like a resounding, clanging cymbal. Your words mean nothing, basically.
Agreed.
So it's sort of like those that only present tough love are forgetting pretty huge portions of the Bible and the New Testament, and I think modeling Christ. If you only like the Christ that casts people out of the temple, you forget about the Good Samaritan parable, you might be missing the point.
Well, what's the difference between someone who just espouses tough love and just someone who's an asshole?
Good question with some of them.
I think the difference is tough love confronts, but it doesn't cast out.
I think if all you're espousing is tough love, then There might be a technical distinction between the two, but the way you act, there's no distinction.
Well, is it just subjective?
Well, it sometimes seems to me
Yes
that certain Christians of a certain personality reflect certain aspects and seem to give their God certain attributes, and it tends to be that the what I would call not so loving Christians tend to be like that. It just seems like Christianity and God seems to reflect quite a lot of the personality of the person describing.
Yeah, if you're a bitter and resentful person, you're going to espouse that, and you're going to represent God in that light. I see that so many times, do you? Right?
Yeah, it comes across to me a lot of the time.
Just a side note, and this is completely off the subject, but is anyone here like really versed in all the ways of YouTube channels and knows about like copyright laws and false flags and things like that? Maybe for a later conversation.
I can help you with some, but I could actually, if you really want, I can put you in contact with people that know much more.
Okay. Later, just send me Yeah,
just send me what your question is, and I can either answer it or pass it off to people smarter than I.
Okay.
It looks like we've stolen some of Nadia's viewers. People, okay, well, people, I'm going to put myself out there. I know a lot of people don't like Nadia for some of the things that she's done. We're not going to go in detail with that. But I did come on her channel yesterday, and I espoused some of my personal beliefs and my personal philosophy that I will probably always stand by, which are I don't think that people should have to ration their medicine. I don't think people should have to work themselves to death in order to sustain a living. And as much as a lot of people don't like certain folks, and I don't even like G-Man that much, but I still sent him money. I think having a stable well-being in a first world nation should be a requirement.
Oh, what are you, a fucking communist? Are you vouching for NHS? Come on.
Socialist.
Come live in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just move to Europe.
But, you had your independence, so, yeah.
Just freedom and shit.
Yeah,
freedom and shit, yeah. Oh, 4th of July, fireworks.
Yeah.
Jack, you're ridiculous. Capitalism is what made the 3% great.
Oh, Lord. Of course. I was actually listening to some YouTube videos while I was in my fucking 4-hour algebra class, so I don't go insane. And it was a video about how the GOP in America is intentionally trying to make people stupid, so they'll get more voters. And I can't help but to kind of feel that it's propaganda, but then also it's based on some truth. So I'm kind of caught in the middle there. Did Xbox fall down?
Yeah, he was so shocked and horrified at what you said. He just.
I kicked my mic off the deck.
Yeah.
Are you having problems, Xbox? Do you need some help?
He said something amusing when he did a mic drop, but unfortunately he was muted till he dropped his mic, and we don't know what it was now.
Oh, welcome, Peripheral Prophet.
So it was very insightful. Just pretend it was very insightful.
It was. I don't doubt it for a minute.
I'm gonna start calling Peripheral Prophet adjacent clergyman or something. I don't know. I'm gonna make a sock account and just kind of create that alter ego.
It's funny.
So what was it that Unstoppable Atheist is supposed to have done anyway? You never did.
Somebody was mentioned. Was it JD that mentioned it? He mentioned it.
Oh yeah. He's gone.
We didn't even get to it.
What a tease.
It was way up in the side chat.
I kind of missed that. Sorry, JD. But there's always Talking Shit Tuesday. You can go over it, man. I mean, I'm just trying to start up my show and just have an alternate to other channels that are out there.
Well, it's Monday today, isn't it? Not Tuesday.
Someone sent me a video of Atheism Unstoppable, and some people have been kind of sending me messages, and I saw some of his videos, and some of it can be misconstrued as racist. I say misconstrued because I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's trying to be insightful, because I have not actually gone in to decipher what the hell he's saying. So that's my position as of now. If there's somebody who's actually been following him for a while and he's full of shit, then I have no problem with seeing their point, provided that they show explicitly what he is saying is just garbage and he's just repeating misconceptions. So, yeah.
I have no idea.
There was, from the last video, he said that there's nothing racist about stating stats. That was.
So long as they're the correct stats, then I presume it depends on the studies. I don't know.
That's where the discussion comes in, I guess.
Right.
Well, there's a line with statistics fallacy that I know about, and if you're just looking to try to sway a certain group of people for your cause by presenting choice facts, then I'd say that's a little disingenuous.
There's entire books out there that are written about how you can manipulate stats to say whatever you want. So those are tricky.
Oh, yeah.
Those are always tricky.
Well, as well, if you do a questionnaire to get people's opinions, depending on how you phrase the question, it will depend on what sort of answers you get. So,
Well, there was a guy that was going around on the 4th of July. I think he was on Coney Island or something, and he was asking people what country America broke away from, and the only person who got it right was an Italian visiting.
They're like, Canada?
Yeah, one of them said
really?
Canada, and I was
I think it was Mexico.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It was so horrible. It was so bad.
Do you guys know the site Spurious Correlations?
No.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I showed you already. It's just because you're old and you don't remember shit.
This is true. Thank you, darling.
I just took a shot at you.
Damn English people.
Yeah, but it's true.
No, it's a brilliant site. You can basically put some totally related stuff, and it makes a correlation. Like for example, U.S. Pentagon Science, Space, and Technology correlates with suicides by hanging, strangulation, and suffocation. And naturally correlates.
Now that I've looked at it, I remember it clearly.
Yeah, number of people who drowned by falling into a pool correlates with films Nicolas Cage appeared in.
Wait a minute, that's true.
It is true. It correlates. Yeah, that's science, bitch. So yeah.
Have you seen some of Nicolas Cage's movies? I mean, some of them do make you drown in the pool.
Listen to Deidre. She tells.
What's that one with the bees? That one was really bad.
The film he was in.
The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man. Terrible.
The Wicker Man? Oh, is
That's
this
the
a
one
remake
with the colony of all females, and they're
like a cult.
Yeah, they're just they get one guy to kind of come in, and he's actually like a sacrifice or something.
Oh, this is a remake then, because
it's terrible. It's so bad.
There's an old film called The Wicker Man with not Christopher.
Greg, I just lost respect for you, man.
What?
Star Wars? What the heck?
Okay, is there anything else that's better for me to play at this moment in time?
Hey, I played Star Wars for a little while. I was a bounty hunter, and Hutt Ball was fun.
Speaking of which,
I would trap people into the burners and watch them and laugh.
Oh my gosh.
Want to queue up right now, as a matter of fact. This is, if I don't have, I need something to occupy my mind, and having
Are we not enough for you?
Yeah.
Are we not enough for you?
Well,
the guilt.
The guy just said that watches YouTube videos on algebra classes, which makes me wonder what the hell is he learning. But anyway,
I still maintain a 4.0 GPA. I just need a break.
I'm the target. I'm just stating the facts.
Greg, here's an idea for you. I mean, Deidre runs a guild. Go to World of Warcraft, join her guild, and help her out.
There you go.
Yeah.
My raid leader has Asperger's, and so what happens is he's really good at calling out the raid. And he's amazing. He sees all 20 people in all 20 spots at the same time. He's perfect at it. Where I'm a spaz, and I can't keep. That's a bad word in England. Sorry. I'm a hyperactive person that gets distracted, and I can't keep track of 20 people by myself. So he helps me out immensely. But what happens is when somebody starts to fight with somebody else, I have to go in because I'm the holy spackler, and I go smooth, 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 and make it all right again because someone's bitching about loot or something like that. So an extra hand of rational thought. I mean, that would be good.
There you go, Drag.
I'm just going to yell at them.
I'm a social director around there.
I'm just going to yell at them. I'm going to be completely honest. That's what my role. Okay, let me go over my MMO experience and my roles in MMOs. Okay, I've had over a decade of experience being a guild leader, being, of course, a guild member, but I usually take a role as like an officer, and my area of expertise is recruiting and retention. I go out and I talent scout, and I make sure that the people who are actually good and they're going to stay in the guild, and they don't find guilds elsewhere. Other than that, I do raid lead when needed, but I am more adept at actually giving productive feedback when there are wipes, so that people aren't just sitting there being discouraged, and people actually know, hey, don't stand in the fucking fire because fire's never good in any game ever. So
you're the dude that pours over logs, aren't you?
Well, no. If there is a dispute somewhere and we're legitimately curious about something, then yeah, I'll go look at it. But I don't like looking at any kind of even parsec or anything like that in this game. I really don't like looking at, because it becomes a pissing contest after a while.
Yeah, agreed with the logs.
I would really love to pull a Leroy Jenkins on you when you do that.
Oh yeah, you will see me yell at you, really, really loud. You think Nephilim Free is bad? If I'm mad at someone for doing something stupid in the raid, I will yell at them a lot. I try not to, because it's annoying.
Unfortunately,
I'm that guy.
I used to raid lead back in the day, and I was very passive aggressive about it. If we were doing a fight and we'd wipe over and over and over again, I'd be like, "No, that's fine, guys. That's fine. If you guys don't want to play tonight, I don't want to play tonight either. I got other stuff to do."
I did that.
That's fine. I really don't care. You know what, guys? I'm not angry at you guys. I'm not angry. Just let me know now whether or not you guys will stop. If you guys have stopped giving a fuck, because if you guys have stopped giving a fuck, that's cool. I got some stuff to do. I'm gonna go do that. And when you guys are ready to actually, I don't know, maybe focus on, I don't know, paying attention to what the fuck's going on around you, then I mean that's what, and I understand some of you guys are environmentally autistic. It's great. I don't care. You know what? Listen, I'm just gonna do my thing over here for a bit, and you guys can have fun.
I had one of those meltdowns. My raid was dying in fire, and I was like, "Wait a minute, we killed this boss over and over again, and we're doing this. We're wiping, and we're wasting time. If you want to waste time, well, then I'm gonna go watch Netflix." And I had this outburst, and unfortunately, I was actually in a hangout at the same time, and I thought I was muted. And Gus is like, "Okay, then," having his hangout, and he's hearing it all like.
Fuck you guys! I'm going home.
So this is Deidre in a meltdown. Okay. And I was doing the same thing that Sokka was doing. It's like, fine.
Slow down. Where are you going?
See if I care.
I don't. That's too much effort. I'm like, you know what? I could be watching Pornhub right now, and y'all wasting my time. Be completely honest.
But you can do both, can't you? I mean,
I'm doing both right now.
Put it in a window.
I'm living proof. Oh yeah, and I was trying to do both, but y'all won't shut the fuck up. God.
Sorry, Nick. Jeez.
Is the hangout with Skylar like where this all originally started from? Is the hangout like on Matt Slick's channel, or is it on Skylar's? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Gay America.
Bible Thumping Wing.
It's a portion of it. It's 25 minutes of it, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. No, the full video.
I'll get you a link.
Where's the full video located?
On Bible Thumping Wingnut's channel.
Yeah.
All right.
Gay America. Like, this is so hysterical. Like, the entire United States is a rainbow now? Is that what we're going with?
I think it's just the acceptance.
It's named Gay America.
Somehow. Like
where else is gay marriage? Where else? I know we're not the only ones.
Canada.
Canada's
had it for 10 years.
Is Canada gay? Have we been saying gay Canada this time?
Sokka's definitely gay.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not sure if you saw my post the other day, but
Maximus. I'm kidding. Max.
You guys see you guys just didn't heed the warnings. You didn't watch what Canada did. You know, like you guys accept all this, gay marriage thing. Like, oh yeah, it's just about equality. Next thing you know, you're going to be in the same position Canada's in. You know that the government is issuing you your same-sex spouse.
Are you?
Well, that's what Slick actually kind of like argues for with Keefe, especially. He gets into arguing that. Well, this is leading to our destruction because look at all this and this and this and this, and it's going to lead to this, this, and this.
Yeah, I lost it when he went down the road of that they're going to start rounding up Christians. I mean, I was like, what?
Oh yeah, I mean,
what?
It's true. This is why you guys haven't seen any Christians from Canada forever. Yeah, and the ones that we do have are radicalized, like Rancam, like. When he talks about taking Christians out into
I'm just going to point out that Maximus is Canadian, and I don't think he's radical. I'm just going to point that out.
Okay,
I think
he's an atheist. No, he's an atheist.
He's an atheist.
Come
on.
I'm not sure if you've ever seen Maximus.
He's not even a real Christian, guys. Come on.
Yeah,
you guys cannot take all our best Christians. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not sure if you've seen Maximus on cam, but he's clearly broadcasting from some hidden bunker somewhere.
All right.
That's what. Yeah.
Christian.
Don't you guys talk about some reserves or zoos? I think is it?
Oh yeah. I mean, like on the weekend, me and my government-appointed husband Stu head out to the Toronto Zoo there, and we take a look at like the last remaining Christians.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean they're penned up. They used to actually have it at kind of like an open-air pen, but their proselytizing was just it was really disrupting the children.
Well, when are they opening the heterosexual exhibit?
The heterosexual exhibit? What is heterosexual?
Yeah, that's
what people who don't do the booty thing.
I don't. No, not familiar with that term. But yeah, okay.
I think it happens sometimes when you get a lot of marijuana. So I think it happens. It might happen, but.
Actually, that's one thing.
So if you smoke too much marijuana, you become a heterosexual.
That's what the Reefer Madness movie's about. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god! Am I the only one trying to stop this guy? Like really?
Yes.
Which guy?
The one that's glowing, that's coming toward me.
That's who.
Fuck this guy. Fuck you. God damn it! Let me go.
Hey, that's the other thing I had to bitch about on the Matt Slick thing was that he was saying that Christians are getting persecuted and oppressed while oppressing and persecuting homosexuals.
How does that work?
Well, it's their religious right to persecute and suppress people and oppress people. Sorry, and and to take that right away from them is just suppressing them.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
that was his argument essentially. Yeah.
I mean, listen, it is my belief. It is my religious belief. Okay, that I get to sacrifice a goat every single Tuesday evening. And bathe myself in its blood and dance around the fire that I can light anywhere in public. I mean, I don't understand why the people are opposed to this.
I want to take your right away to do it.
You know what you just said, and I know what your analogy means, but I used to work with a church that was half Middle Eastern, and they invite you over for dinner or whatever. And they were showing a home video of what was going on back in Egypt, and they were like, this is when so and so got baptized, and he looks like a mini pope with a little pope hat and stuff, and he's like this baptism, and then they celebrate at their house, and they make him ride the goat, and they're like riding the goat, and we're like, okay, cool. They don't give us any warning what's gonna happen ahead, and all of a sudden they grab the goat. They slit the goat's throat in front of us, and we're like, because we're Californians, we don't have farms and stuff, so this is like this horrific, yet it just happens before your eyes without any warning, so you're watching it all, and we're just like, oh my gosh, and then the lady takes the blood and puts it on the doorway, like, the Old Testament, Passover, and we're just like, what did we just see? What just happened? And they just were laughing at us like it was nothing. But part of our culture is we're very sensitive towards violence against animals. We don't want to participate, yet we still eat meat and stuff. And I don't know. I just thought it was funny how how the morality does fluctuate culture to culture just a little bit.
There's no violence in me eating meat, though, right? Like, it might have constituted from some violence, but I don't associate it with the violence. Yeah, I think that's a big difference in why it's not a hypocritical thing.
If you were to go,
there's no violence in war if we use a drone, right? I don't have to look at people's faces as we blow them apart.
Right. We wouldn't associate it with it if that was the case. Like, it wouldn't be such a disturbing thing if.
But there really is violence, so it's just
Well, sure, yeah, and even with the hamburger that I eat, there was a violence, but I have no association with it, like. You know.
The cow had a happy death.
But I don't know if it makes that better. You know what I mean?
I know.
Everybody thinks that the world's becoming more moral and progressive, but I look and go, I think we're killing more efficiently.
It wouldn't be. It wouldn't make it better. I wasn't trying to make that case. It's just less disturbing to not have that association.
It's because you don't see it.
Significance. Hang on. There's a significant difference here between, like, this is the hunter-gatherer sort of survival idea, right? So I think you could argue in favor of, like, we use all manner of systems now to quickly and quote unquote humanely kill our cattle, right? In comparison to hundreds of years ago, where you would throw a spear through its neck and it would be bleeding out for minutes on end, thrashing and thriving until finally you were able to, if you were kind enough, get close enough to slit its throat. Sure. So I think we've come a long way in the way we treat our prey, as it were.
Okay, so the difference is, the comparison I would make is, in your scenario, Alex, you have a few dozen people who gather food, and when they kill animals, they do it in kind of a cruel fashion because that's all they can do. Compare that with today, where we round up millions of animals and slaughter them for essentially the efficient distribution of meat.
It's the same thing, though, as it's just a handful of groups that do that,
It's not the same thing, actually. I would almost say the hunter-gatherer is usually actually kinder, because if in theory, most of the time, the goal is to kill in a hurry, right? But once in a while, you'll get the maimed animal that runs off, and you're like, ah, crap, and then the killing doesn't work out, and killing becomes a mess. But I got to tell you, in pig farming, it's disgusting. I watched a documentary on it, and I was just like, in chicken farming, it's gross too. And I'm not trying to say like I'm a vegan, but I'm trying to say like see what it is, or it is. Nothing's become better. It's just that it's out of sight, out of mind.
No, I wouldn't say the killing has become any more humane or less humane. I think a case could be made that it has become more humane. But to what Kevin was saying, it's still the small. It's not everybody out having slaughterhouses. It's still just groups of these people that have the slaughterhouses, and then everybody else reaps the benefit from it. It's the same in the small societies. We've just grown as a population that we've expanded those groups.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like this notion of like overproduction, I don't disagree with you. I think if the nations, the first world nations, were to ship out their excess product, like the stuff that they were getting rid of, like in the last 2-3 days, we could feed the world many times over on that alone, on what we throw away alone. So don't get me wrong, I do believe there is an issue there, but with regards to the methods and the way we go about these procedures, I think it would be much more preferable to essentially the idea of having to battle, and it seems like it's going to be an inevitability that we will consume this prey.
And sure, we might have more waste now. Like I don't know that I'd argue with that. I mean,
the waste is crazy. I mean, to what Alex said, I mean, it's something like 30 to 40% of all the food that we produce ends up in total waste. So
in France, they passed a law that the big chains, big supermarkets, it is mandatory for them to not to dispose of all the expired items, but they have got to give them to charity, society, and stuff like that. That's mandatory, actually.
Yeah. A lot of places do that here. It's not mandatory, but they do it with all kinds of products, not just meat. But like even if the demand went down, it would have to greatly go down before that waste would go down a significant amount. Even if the demand went down, you know, by half, the waste wouldn't go down significantly.
Yeah, but you know, a law like that, which is, I think it's really civil, you know, and I like it, and the thing, and the fact that, you know, most of organizations do that, it doesn't switch the problem, you know, because you still bring that stuff in your country, but the fact is that you damage so much other countries that they will be deprived of those resources. So it's a little bit more complicated than that. It's a good step, I think, you know, but it's way more complicated. There's actually a movement in Italy. It's called the I don't know how to translate that. It might be like something like happy decreasing, which basically says you have to consume less because it makes no sense. Up to a certain point, it makes totally no sense, and it's quite fascinating. You know, it is getting quite some ground in the society.
How do you say it in Italian?
Decrescita felice.
Okay, I heard something about Felicia.
Yeah, felice means happy, and decrescita is decrease. So
happily decrease.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, which makes sense, you know, even, you know, from a everyday point of view. I mean, you don't really need a new phone every year. You know what I mean?
Precisely.
You don't need 3 cars if there is 4 people in the family and 2 of them, I don't know, one is 13 years old. I mean, you can organize yourself in order to rationalize, you know, your resources. And
what extent do we stop that at, right? Like, because like I have no issue with why do I need such a big house? Why does my bedroom even have to be 3 times the size that I need? Yeah. Like just the waste in all kinds of products, right? Like
capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. To address what Fabio said, I mean that's a good point. Why do we need a new phone every year or two? And the answer to that question is simply because companies need that to happen. Yeah. If they don't have constant turnover, then they lose market share and they go essentially bankrupt.
All right. So, and then innovation kind of sledges down. It didn't completely stop, but it progress completely slows down a lot.
Well, you know, yeah, this is not completely true. I mean, up to a certain point, you're right, you know, but the problem is that, you know, a lot of innovations are market-driven. So you have innovation, but you don't put it on the market up until you're ready for the next step. So it's not really real innovation. It's just, you know, piling up shit, and you're trickling it to the market. And you know, it's really, again, you know, I'm not saying it's an easy subject, but you know, the old rationale behind it is that you got to be a little bit more aware of the fact that if we, not you, but it's also on you, but if we want to live a little bit better, we got to take into account that there is this big thing called sustainability, which we have to, you know, sooner or later we got to take into account. Because
if we
don't,
Fabio.
Yeah, no, I know, it is hard. But, you know, the problem is that, you know, if we don't do that, it will come and bite our asses. I mean, it's there waiting, you know. You can either pretend it's not there, it's okay, but eventually it's going to come and kill you anyway. So.
But unfortunately, in the system that we live in, I would argue that sustainability runs totally counter to the system in which we live in. There's no money really in sustainability. It's about turnover. It's about things breaking down so you can buy the next best thing.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's really tough to find people which actually can fix stuff. But I'll give you just a small example. You know, this is a fuel pump. It's from my son's motorcycle. This is actually the piece which broke down. Now, if I wanted to take the old piece, it was about $700 because it's not just like that. They sell you a big pile of plastic on top of it. if you do some research, you can find it at the actual fuel pump, and it wasn't easy because they had to modify that one. But this one is only $75. So there is some value, in trying to do some stuff the other way around, in trying to do some research, and actually doing some stuff.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I mean, the actual market doesn't push you towards this kind of solution. It pushes you towards, go for this $700 stuff, thing, right. And you're gonna buy
the repair parts, like you said, because sometimes they're bought by a wholesaler at this higher price, right? They hang on to them. 10 years from now, they're not gonna sell it even then for a loss. They're gonna still want whatever close to a price that they paid for it years and years ago.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that's even adding waste to waste, because they already produced that and they don't sell it, and eventually they're gonna basically throw it away. But it's again, the problem is that it takes a lot of effort, by each and every one of us to behave in a certain way, and it's not the easy route, because everything else in our society pushes us towards that direction, the easy route.
I'll say this much, Fabio. Actually, I would really like to have a conversation with you sometime. One-on-one or a really small group. Yeah. I don't want to derail the whole conversation into a capitalistic.
I love to. Yeah. Keep in touch with me. Send me a note. I'll be more than glad to do that. I really love this kind of conversations.
Right on.
Oh my! Does this guy really choose Ares as well? This is going okay. I know the irony of an atheist playing a game with gods, but curiously enough, there are no Abrahamic deities in this game.
That's because you're your own god, right?
Is that the one that? Oh, what is that called? I think I
Smite.
Played that. Smite, yeah. I couldn't. Smite's boring for me. You like it?
You have to. It takes a lot of teamwork and strategy. It's not a game that you can just kind of say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want today. You have to work together as a team, and that's why I play the games, online games. I want the team.
I like the team stuff too, but I guess maybe I don't know enough people that played it, so I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, it's just I knew. Well, I still know them. It's two guys that got me into the game, and so if I'm with them, there's a greater chance of success because they've been playing for so long and they taught me how to play. But just with random yahoos, like there's an argument already going on as to who does what role, and if one person, is kind of just doing his own thing, then your whole team can suffer.
Well, I don't like League either. League is just not my thing either. League and Dota are pretty much the same game to me, and I just So for whatever reason, while I like raiding, I don't like those kind of strategy games for some reason.
Sorry, go ahead, Drag.
No, I was saying somebody called my name. I can't see.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you heard of or play Guild Wars 2?
I actually had Guild Wars at one point. The first one. I don't think I've ever played the second one.
Oh, you need to try the second one. You really do.
They've updated everything. They've updated everything.
It's almost like a totally new game. I mean, it's based upon the same stuff, but it's worth checking out.
Time consuming. Is it less time consuming?
Well, it's not like World of Warcraft or any other traditional MMO in the sense that you have to keep up with everything and get new equipment. You can literally go in, do your own thing, and it's very, very relaxed. So
it's more along the lines of your storyline with as many people as you want to invite along.
Yes, I love that aspect. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good fun. And then they have they've got all kinds of like separate areas from the actual game storyline for the purposes of massive hundreds of people, like online battle sort of thing, and it's good fun.
When I stopped playing WoW for like 3 months and I was playing Star Wars, I would say that Star Wars was the most loneliest MMO I've ever played in my life.
I found the story really compelling. I didn't need other people.
I would argue that if you're into PvP, Guild Wars 2 probably has the best PvP made.
Maybe I'll try it just for the PvP, just because I think...
You can do that. You don't even need to level. You can go in, literally do 10 minutes in the starting area, and then auto level to 80, and go into PvP, and boom, You're with
it'll put you straight to level 80. It'll open up all the possible skill traits that you can get. So you can literally just choose, say if you want, you've never been a thief before, but you couldn't be bothered going through the storyline again because you've done it with the other character. Join in, go on to PvP. It'll automatically level you up to level 80, and you can then specify your traits and your abilities and basically mess about with it until you find something that you really like to play with, and then go off and kill everyone essentially.
Yeah. The other MMO I think that might be an RPG MMO that's tempting to play is Final Fantasy. That one.
I did the beta for that when it was first out, and it's actually it was pretty fun. I played it with my wife, and she has gaming ADD, so it didn't last very long. But I enjoyed it while I played it.
I wish I had the processing power for Final Fantasy, but it's pretty beyond words. So, and I don't have the money for the subscription either.
Scott Gurton, is that how you say his name? He's always playing that.
That's the other brilliant thing about Guild Wars: one-off purchase. I love that element about it. You buy the game.
Huh?
No, well, you buy the game and it's yours. Sign in, come off. There's no requirement to pay $5 or £5 every month.
Yeah, that's the other advantage of Guild Wars 2 is that there's no sub either. And I think you could still, if you wanted to, you can buy Guild Wars 2 now for $20. It's ridiculously cheap if they still have a special going on. Anyway, I'm done promoting that game. We can talk about something else.
Well, it is definitely. I'm going to promote. I think Scott was playing it for a while, my husband. And then Scott and I tend to go different directions in gaming. I tend to get way more social, and he tends to be way more exclusive and by himself. And so we just play differently.
Here's one that would hopefully fit into both categories, and I'm going to promote it because I'm playing the shit out of it. Is Dark Souls. Yeah.
Dark Souls. Yeah.
Dark Souls. I cannot recommend Dark Souls enough. If you want a game that is it's nothing but an uphill struggle, and everything's rewarding. When you finish each level, or each boss, I should say, it's so goddamn rewarding, and I recommend it highly.
We have PS4, and I don't play it very much because usually Scott plays it, so I tend to be on the PC often because I don't know. Like I said, we play so differently, and when we play against each other, Lord help us. You wanna ruin a marriage? I'll tell you what. Get into first-person shooters against each other,
wow.
And it turns into a brawl. It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife and we were playing. She's more of a handheld gamer. My wife has her own YouTube channel, by the way, but she's more of a handheld gamer. We were playing Monster Hunter, the last one that came out, and like I said, the gaming ADD kicks in, and so she's on to something else. Now I think she's playing something on her iPhone, like something called Line Play and some kind of Hello Kitty game. So I'm just like, yeah, you do your own thing. I'm not. Yeah.
What, does that interfere with your manhood there, Drag? I dress up in all pink. What's the problem here?
Hello Kitty.
No, I mean, it's like little what do they call it? Chibi characters, and you go around, you clean people's houses, and you get hearts. So I'm like, okay, for one thing, I'm not the help, so I'm not interested in playing an RPG while being a help, and I don't see the value.
Drag, it's just a game, my friend.
My morals will not allow me to.
Harvest Moon is so damn whimsical. How could you diss such a thing?
Somebody has to clean the house. I mean, shit. Might as well step up and do it, right?
No.
What was the name of the game? Illegal Alien, you said?
Oh, it's fucked up.
Oh gosh.
Fuck you. Oh, fuck you.
Politically incorrect.
Yeah. Fucking hell. That's 2-on-1. Where are the other guys at? Oh, he's back there playing with himself. That's cool.
Well, just like you said, everybody has to work together, or it doesn't work, right?
Yeah. Well, on the left lane, you need 2 people over there, and so I'm the only one on the left lane, and so the other guy who's supposed to be helping me, he's just doing his own thing. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'll just fight 2 people myself, which I can once I get enough stuff, but not right now. I don't know what they're called, power-ups. I don't know, something. Kick-ass items.
Kick-ass items.
Kick-ass items.
Things. Golden dildos.
Oh my gosh. That doesn't sound very practical.
These lights are expensive.
Yeah, sound expensive.
It's a waste of paint.
Yeah.
Come here, buddy. I want to play with you. Come on. Okay. Did all our okay? Deidre's like the only theist that's in here. What happened? Let's argue.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of video games, Suck, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh, that's a lot of...
I want Guild Wars 2. What the hell happened, man? We had a team.
Yeah,
What
happened was that I took a break because I had to go, do that whole thing, with real life and go out to, the West Coast and find a place to live and work out all that stuff. And then when I came back,
God damn you!
When I came back, I messaged you a couple times. It was this, and you never responded. So I was like, whatever. But I just haven't had the urge to jump back in anytime soon.
It's okay. I'm just giving you a hard time, of course.
I know. You're an asshole.
I know. I am an asshole.
Maybe if you just don't see him as an asshole, then things will be better.
No,
exactly.
That's a good point. That's a good point. But wait a second. That makes no sense at all.
I'm sorry. I thought after yesterday evening, the proper way was fucking asshole, not only asshole.
Yeah, I was actually really tempted to correct my mother. I was like, actually, that's a no true.
I know.
Don't do that to your mom. Don't do that to your
Drag, when Roy seemed to think you were agreeing with him when you were saying to your wife, okay, if a guy's a rapist, we instead of seeing him as a rapist, see him as a potential job seeker.
That doesn't that bother people that he was actually agreeing with that?
Yeah, I know.
That's just
mind-boggling.
I wonder if just the apologetic in place, just like, why does everybody think I'm an asshole? Wait a second, I have a solution. Everybody, stop thinking I'm an asshole, and I'll stop being an asshole.
So the interesting thing about the No True Scotsman is, how do you tell the difference between a Poe and a Christian, and when you can actually say No True Scotsman? Because you have to be a Scotsman in order to be considered a Scotsman. If you're an Englishman pretending to be a Scotsman, the fallacy doesn't apply.
No.
That's
That's not how the fallacy works. It's got nothing to do with being Scottish.
No. Are you kidding me? Oh my Lord, have mercy.
No. The point.
I'm sorry if I misunderstood what you just said.
That's not what James was saying.
So far over your head, that was just ridiculous.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate that.
Something is defined as being something, right? So a Christian is defined as being a Christian. If you weren't a Christian but were to lie about it, and someone was to say you're not a Christian, but you were claiming to be one, like a Poe, you would be justified in saying that because they're not actually a Christian. They're quote unquote an Englishman and not a Scotsman. Sorry, that kind of.
Oh right, I see what you're saying.
So
the way you.
No, but I think that there is actually confusion on this one, is where it's just like the no true Scotsman fallacy is the that you can limit what you label a group by putting outstanding criteria on them. So for example, like to say that all Scotsmen love haggis, and then all of a sudden somebody comes along and says, well, wait, hold on a second, I'm Scottish and I love haggis, and then the response to that will be, well, okay, fine, but you're not a true Scotsman. And that's the point of the fallacy. So the fallacy is that is already accepting that this person meets the criteria of how we define them as in such a way. Okay, so to put it to the Christian type thing is to say that all Christians oppose same-sex marriage, and then Deidre comes along and says, hold on a second, I don't oppose same-sex marriage, and then be like, okay, but that's because you're not a true Christian. You know, that would be
Sounds like standard conversation around here, actually.
Yeah, that's how it relates to this. And so it's not a matter of somebody pretending to be what they are. With the no true Scotsman fallacy, there's already the assumption that you're talking to people that meet what the basic criteria of what it is.
No, but like when Dragnot's mom was talking about it, she wasn't taking that for granted. She was actually saying because of these fruits, we can determine that they're not Christians. So what I'm saying is, if someone were to just pretend they were Christian, they really weren't. They were just trying to, whatever, it served whatever agenda they were trying to use, but they truly weren't Christian, but they were espousing that. At what point is it fallacious to say that they're not a Christian?
Well, I mean, the thing is, okay, but again, I don't think that that applies to the no true Scotsman fallacy in the way that I explained it there. It's to put the criteria on something. If somebody says that they're a Christian, okay, and they fall within all, you know, and they expound themselves as a Christian, and they explain everything that a Christian does. You know, the only way to know whether or not that person was a Christian is whether or not they actually truly believed it, which is a call that nobody can make. So, you know, yeah. So, to for example, like judging by the fruits or whatever, there is that somebody can call themselves a Christian. For example, let's say, you know, somebody in this community here, anybody, I can, you know, probably pick like a dozen, but, you know, avoid the names here, is that they claim to be a Christian, but if I held a position that said a Christian will never lie, okay, it's impossible for a Christian to lie, and say that any Christian that I've ever caught in a lie or we've ever seen lie can't therefore be a Christian, so they're not really a Christian. Well, that's an example of the no true Scotsman fallacy in play there. It's the no true Scotsman fallacy applies to when you put an extra criteria onto something, and that's it.
Well, you kind of said yourself that there's no real way to know what's in their hearts, whether they're truly a Christian or not. Yeah, so if you have someone that's actually being a Poe, and at what point are you justified in claiming that they're not a Christian? If you're trying to say that, well, as long as someone claims they're a Christian, you can never claim otherwise. So basically, the criterion for being a Christian then becomes you claim to be a Christian, which it takes the title and makes it nothing.
No,
it's when you don't meet my criteria of it, and I'm claiming, say I'm the Christian, I set the criteria for it, and I'm claiming that you don't meet that criteria, but you're trying to use the same label.
Well, let's put it this way. Do you have to believe in the divinity of Jesus in order to be a Christian?
I lean towards yes.
Okay, 1 second. Sorry, 1 second, buddy, okay? Yeah, so, Deidre, do you believe that you have to believe in the divinity of Jesus in order to be a Christian?
Yes, I do think it's dangerous to deny the Trinity, because if you deny the Trinity, you're denying an aspect of God, so I lean towards yes.
Okay. Newton, was he a Christian?
I don't know Newton's specific beliefs. I don't know if he was Unitarian or Trinitarian or anything like that. Well,
he denied the divinity of Jesus.
Okay. So you'd be like a Unitarian, probably?
Okay, so does that mean that Newton wasn't Christian?
I don't know. That I deferred to God judging whether or not he was or not. But it does say if you confess in your heart,
it's up to you.
If you confess
by your criteria.
If you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord, you will be saved. And so now your question is, what is Lord? Well, in this case, I would equate it with God, that He is divine. So I would say that to be confused on who God is and the nature of who Christ is a very dangerous place to be. So I'm not completely sure on it, but I would say that I personally think that the Trinity is an essential.
Yeah, it's just your criteria. What you, not what God or anybody else thinks. Just
well,
by
my
your
criteria is derived from Scripture and theology and stuff like that. So.
Okay. So Jehovah's Witnesses are all Christian. If they believe in the divinity of Christ.
Shamos, you mean that you think that I didn't understand what was asked, or?
Yeah. You're not a like what Sokka's asking. You said that all it was Deidre. You set the criteria on being a Christian as believing in the divinity of Christ, and then when you were asked about someone who didn't believe in the divinity of Christ, you didn't want to jump and say that they weren't a Christian by that criteria. So like you're having it both ways.
Because I believe God judges the hearts. I'm very reluctant to say who's Christian, who's not. what I can say is what behavior seems Christian and what behavior seems not.
There you go. That's perfect, and that's it. I think that's as far as you can go. I mean, if somebody does something and you say and you oppose it and you say, hold on a second, I don't think that you're exemplifying Christ in such a way, that would be appropriate in accordance with Scripture. That's fine, but to say, you're not a Christian is just offensive.
No, it is offensive. It's also extremely dangerous. Imagine this. If I look at it this way, God judges the hearts and minds of all men, and He is able to see big picture, everything, right? When I look at somebody and I judge somebody no matter what, I don't like that X person runs around calling people a pedophile, and I've been really clear about that. But at the same time, do I know why he does all the time? Like, do I know the whole story behind this man? No. Does he know the whole story behind me and why I might fight with a fundamentalist? No. People make assumptions and judgments on each other all the time. And so I would rather, instead, when I disagree with somebody, I go, I disagree with your actions. But I am unwilling to call people not Christians. So, like, I disagree with Rick Shades. I tend to not engage with him because I just find him frustrating, but I would never call him not a Christian. I disagree with Pillbox. I find him frustrating. I can't call him not a Christian, though. That is not for me to decide.
Exactly, and I think that's the point, and I agree with you completely on this. Because the problem is that if it comes down now to, just people dictating what is which. Okay, so let's say my definition of a Christian was this: someone that believes in the life, death, resurrection of Jesus, that He is God made flesh, that He died on the cross for all of our sins, and that somebody who is born again, not in the flesh but in the Spirit. That they have the Holy Spirit living in them. If that's my definition of a Christian, well, I don't believe in the Holy Spirit. There is no such thing as a Christian. You can take the title all you want, but you're not a Christian. There's no such thing as a Christian. I've laid out my definition of what a Christian is, and I don't believe in the Holy Spirit, so therefore nobody is a Christian in my books.
Right.
So, but who would say that? Who would actually make that argument? It's unreasonable. But that's an example of the no true Scotsman fallacy.
G-Man, if he was an atheist.
Yeah, G-Man if he was an atheist. Yeah, that's an example of it pushed to the absolute max.
Well, and they've been doing this for quite some time. I mean, this is like an age-old thing. I mean, as soon as the Reformation happened, no real Christian would be a Catholic, and we still see that, and it kind of faded away. And it's like, okay, you're a Christian, and then it surged up again in the 1900s. Catholics aren't Christian, and you'll see that embedded in evangelical Americans, but you don't see that in all Christian, like in the Christian world.
But I didn't even know that was a thing until I came onto the internet.
The other thing is that if somebody was, okay, for example, Poe, when you talk about Poe's law, which is the idea that at its core you cannot tell the difference between an extreme fundamentalist and somebody that's just pretending, that's doing a satire of the position, and because they, to the outsider they just both look crazy. That's observing them. In that sense, one of them believes the stuff, one of them doesn't. One of them isn't. Let's do this example for extreme fundamental evangelicist. And somebody that's just pretending to be one. Well, there's not a no true Scotsman fallacy there. That's just somebody pretending. That's if you could actually show that this person isn't a Christian, which you can't unless you know exactly what they're thinking or they confess it to you or whatever. There's really no way to tell them a difference.
Right.
So.
Well, then the alternative that we're left with is now defining someone to be a Christian as anyone that claims to be, and that's dangerous. In fact,
it's not dangerous, but it's reality.
Yeah, it's only dangerous if God exists.
I know you so much don't mind because you're not a Christian, but I mind. I personally mind. Deidre, do you mind?
Like I said, yes and no. I tend to look at it as behavior. So I can say that's not Christ-like behavior. I don't know for sure if you're a Christian or not, because I'm going to let God be the judge. But I can point out behavior that I think is Christ-like,
or you can point out that you're not acting like what my ideal of a Christian acts like, right?
The other thing is too. I mean, I've seen pastors, for instance, that don't seem extremely Christ-like to me, right? like the guy with the jet plane, right? So something flags to me, like that cynical side, like this doesn't ring right. This doesn't ring right true to Scripture. I'm not going to say anything based on his salvation, because I'm not the judge of the hearts of men. God is, but I can judge whether or not he's aligning with what I understand of Scripture. And I'm like, from what my understanding is, this prosperity gospel thing, it doesn't seem to align with what I understand of Scripture. So therefore, I wouldn't attend that church and use that guy as my teacher. I think it's fair to do that.
And I think too, what it comes down to is then that instead of saying that there's Christians and there's people that are just misguided or whatever, or that aren't really Christians, is put on more of the, okay, listen, we have a standard of what we expect Christian behavior to be. You're just a shitty Christian.
Right.
Okay, that's fine. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that claim. But, again, that's just really subjective to people's different interpretation of what is a Christian to begin with, and this is why there's no true Scotsman fallacy.
Like, I can claim to be a Christian, right? I would just be a really shitty Christian in probably 99.99% Christians' views. You still can't claim that I'm not a Christian, kind of thing. Like,
well, and that's the issue that I have, is that it kind of seems like a cop-out every time a Christian does something unchristian-like. Then if that were true, it would make redemption pointless, if then you were just automatically not a Christian the second you fucked up.
right.
What I'm noticing is us moderates tend to actually not want to declare people not Christian. What I'm noticing is extreme progressive Christians, like the ones that completely throw out the Bible pretty much, they are really quick to call conservatives Christians not really Christians, and conservative Christians sometimes will call them not really Christians. And so sometimes why moderates go silent, I think, is they get sort of pulled apart by everybody, and it's not a comfortable position. And when I say moderate, I don't mean lukewarm Christians. I mean people that that don't conflate this political government stuff with religion.
Well, when you run into like what Seamus is kind of saying, like he wants to distance himself from people that don't match up with his ideals of a Christian. He doesn't want to be associated with those type of people with that label. They're associated with the same label, right? Like,
no, I'm actually challenging.
That's what Sako was saying. That's just reality. Is
what? Go
ahead,
Seamus.
No, I'm actually challenging the kind of definition of what we consider to be a Christian. I'm specifically challenging and denying the notion that being a Christian is merely stating the fact that you are a Christian. I understand the epistemological problem of not being able to tell, but that doesn't mean that we get to grant everybody prima facie that they're a freaking Christian. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way with anything else. It doesn't say,
it does. It does with everything else. Unless you're wanting to give specific meanings to words, like intrinsic meaning to words.
Well, I got an example. Amos, are you a man? Amos, are you a man?
That's the example I thought of as well.
Have you served in the military?
No.
Not a real man to me.
He's circumcised.
What does this have to do with what we're talking about? I'm specifically.
You're saying we're talking about things that are granted. I don't grant you the title.
The objection that I'm raising. I'm not raising.
That's an example of what.
I'm not sure how this is hard for him to understand.
He's showing that all words are like that. There's not an intrinsic meaning to man, a single thing that fits in this box, right?
Because
it's used as a range to describe a certain category that is loosely defined, right? Like its meaning will change. Say if evolution is correct, 2 million years from now, man is not going to mean the same thing it means right now. It's going to loosely follow with it. There's no intrinsic meaning to it itself, just like with Christian. So we're trying to show that
that's the reverse etymological fallacy. Saying that something will be a different wording in the future. The non-reverse etymological fallacy is saying that.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, what are you saying then?
The reverse. I think he said it'll eventually change.
Yeah, I'm saying there is no intrinsic meaning to man. We're not going to hold man as or Christian or any. We don't use it with any word. We don't hold it in. That would be the genetic fallacy to hold it in as it means this one single thing, and will always mean this one single thing. and if something changes a little bit with that one single thing, well, then we'll give it a completely different label. We don't do that with anything.
Well, the point that I was making is that these.
Take care, Fabio. Moi moi.
What you consider a man now is based off of certain qualities and traits. One of those being masculinity, and if I'm setting the bar as being, well, you need to serve in the military in order for me to deem you a man, then that is the standard to which I'm going to judge you. And the one that you're stating with your Christianity is based off the traits that you see that a Christian should behave as. It's not that there's this exceptional standard to which, well, I can flip-flop and play with this because it's Christianity and it doesn't apply to anything else. No, it's a label like any other. It just has different qualities and traits attached to it.
So, like I said in the side chat, the law of identity states that a cat cannot be a dog. Okay? The law of identity states that a Christian cannot be an atheist. Okay?
No, it doesn't. It does. That's not what the law of identity states. The law of identity states it can't be itself and not itself.
Something cannot be what it is and what it's not in the same
right,
time.
But
it
has nothing to do with the label. It has nothing at all to do with the label you put on it.
Yeah, it can't be cat and not cat, because if you say it can't be cat and it can't be it can be cat but it can't be dog. Well, if dog has every same reference that the word cat does, then what's the difference?
Right. It's about the identity itself, not about the label or the thing. And it can't be two opposite things. It's only it and the negation of it. It's a negation of P.
Yeah, it's kind of definitional.
Right. That's why a lot of times you hear it as you can't be X and not X, right? Because it's not beholden to any specific label. It's not that an apple can't be an apple and not an apple. It's an apple can't be itself and not itself. It has nothing to do with the label you put on it or the description you give it.
Excellent. How you doing, Ethan?
Yeah, pretty good.
I'm just raising a very simple point, is that a Christian is defined, there's a definition for a Christian, and the definition for a Christian is not the mere fact that you say you're a Christian. That's not the definition of a Christian. And so what I'm basically putting forth is that there are certain people who are precluded from being Christians by their very definition.
Well, it depends which definition of Christian you're using. I mean,
yeah,
go back far enough in time.
I honestly think the Nicene Creed and the Apostles' Creed and stuff like that kind of put it in a nutshell. But
well, hang on a second. What I was just going to indicate is that if you go back to the classical definition, going back a couple of thousand years roughly, one of the initial meanings of the term was simply follower of Christ. You didn't have to necessarily believe all of his teachings to follow the majority of his teachings. And under that particular thing, you could be an atheist while being a Christian. In the same way that you can be an atheist and a Buddhist. You're simply following the messenger. You're following the message. That's it.
Yeah, so the first definition of Christian I have is a person who has received a Christian baptism or is a believer in Jesus Christ and his teachings. It doesn't say anything about having to follow them in such a suit. I mean, this is the first definition I brought up.
Well, and the problem is that Jesus' teachings make it so that you would have to acknowledge that he did claim to be Lord. And if he did accept worship from Peter, he would not be a good man if he did that. He would be a liar, a lunatic, or Lord. Yeah, I do agree. And the only other option is legend. That's the other option that a lot of atheists like to throw in there to C.S. Lewis's argument, legend. But
James, I kind of see. I think your argument.
You have to acknowledge that he accepted worship, that he did make I am claims.
Here, Seamus, I kind of think I see your argument, but it's not beholden to the label Christian, right? I think I see what your argument is, that you can't be someone saved by God and follower of that and not be that at the same time. It doesn't matter what label you put on that if you're one of the, I guess, the elect, maybe I'll use that word. If you're one of the elect or not, it doesn't matter if you call yourself elect or orange or man, right? There is no beholden label that you can say that you're doing to that. But you either are one of the elect or you're not one of the elect, right?
So is an evolutionist someone that believes in evolutionary theory, or just someone that doesn't believe in evolutionary theory but says that they do?
Strictly speaking, evolution.
Should we define an evolutionist just by saying that they're an evolutionist?
Is there really such a word?
No, there really isn't.
That's why I'm trying to show you that this is an absurd notion to have.
It's just a rough label we put on someone to categorize them, but it's nothing intrinsic to it.
Well, hang on a second. Let's go with this for one brief moment, if y'all will indulge me. Now, I think by evolutionist he means somebody that accepts evolution. I'm assuming that's the case. And with that assumption, there are different people that can say, well, yes, evolution exists, but it was guided by God, or it was guided by aliens, or it was guided by whatever. And these are all different ways that people could look at this framework of what evolution is. So you can still accept evolution while still having different viewpoints pertaining to it.
Right. That's not what I was saying. What I'm saying is if someone is not considered an evolutionist just by the mere fact that they say they're one, you're an evolutionist because you believe in the theory of evolution. If I don't believe in the theory of evolution and lie and say I'm an evolutionist, I'm not an evolutionist.
You are. You are. That was the point. You are. You're just a really crappy one, right?
No,
like the worst that could ever be.
Not at all. You're not at all. You're not at all.
Don't forget, though. Don't forget, Shamus.
But who knows? Like,
don't forget. Shamus, once you're in Christ Jesus, you're in for good. And that's the way it is, whether you hold the faith or not. If you've ever been given the faith in Christ Jesus, you are in Christ Jesus, and He is in you. And it is a permanent, eternal deal, allegedly, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I thought that's the case you were making. That's why you used that word election a minute ago.
Sokka's actually a little bit more on track, and he goes, yeah, okay, I grant that, but how do you know? And that's what I'm saying is, when you start saying, okay, how do we know? And then from that logic, you try to derive the definition of a Christian as anyone that says they are, then that's where I'm disputing. That's where I buck this whole time, because I'm not going to say, well, we can't know, therefore anyone who says they're a Christian is a Christian. I will never, ever assent to that ever in my life.
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
Can we change
That's all I've been arguing the whole time.
Nobody's put that forward, though. Nobody's putting forward just because you espouse the position means those are your beliefs or that you hold them.
Yeah,
we were actually arguing that you can't tell the difference between someone who's faking it and not.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I agreed with that.
You can look at people's behavior.
Because of the epistemological problem, you can't therefore logically follow that, okay, well then since we epistemologically can't tell, we're just go ahead and assume everyone's a Christian that says they are. I'm not going to accept that ever.
Okay,
well, I would
agree.
I would agree with Sam.
1 second, sorry.
Yeah.
The problem is, though, that's fine. That's fine, Seamus. But again, this goes back to it goes the other way. You're not a Christian. I can't know whether or not you're a Christian or not, whether or not you actually believe it. So I'm not going to go out there and say you're a Christian. In fact, I don't know if Deidre. I mean, yeah, you guys talk a pretty good game, but I don't know. You guys aren't Christians because I can never make that call whether or not you guys actually believe what you guys are saying.
I mean, all you can really do is trust that the person is speaking.
By that same logic, y'all are an atheist because I can't confirm you actually believe in atheists. So that's what I'm saying. When you take that thing to its logical conclusion, it just leaves everything to we can never know anything. Know anything about anybody, and that's
actually
what
that is my position.
Well, actually,
you know what? But Seamus, you're right. Yeah, if we follow it down that path. So
I don't.
This is the idea you guys were espousing.
No. This is no. Hold on a second. The position that we're espousing is this, and the position that I'm not sure about the rest of that I am, is that in order for someone to be a Christian, in my books, that they have to meet a certain criteria. That they believe and they follow Christ. Whatever. Just call it the most basic stripped down definition.
So it's falsifiable. So you have a criteria on which to falsify whether someone's a Christian. Is that true or false?
Well, there's no way to sit there.
He just said there was hold on. He said there was a criterion. I'm trying to understand if that criterion is a criterion by which you could falsify if someone was a Christian or not, or you just got a criterion that can't prove shit.
No, I tend to.
Oh my God, please.
Scripture criteria.
Wait, everybody else talk. That's fine.
Go, Sokka.
No, please, Sokka. Please.
Okay.
Seamus was asking you a question.
The point is, and I understand, Seamus, I understand what you're saying, and this is why the new No True Scotsman is a fallacy. This is why it is a problem, is because we put out these the basic understanding. For example, like a vegetarian. Okay, what is a vegetarian? Someone that doesn't eat meat. Okay, but somebody comes along now and says, well, hold on a second. A vegetarian isn't just somebody that doesn't eat meat, but that refrains from all animal products. I mean, they don't eat milk or cheese or anything like that. They got to be extreme. You're not a true vegetarian because you haven't met my definition of this. So the point is that the definitions are they're simple, they're arbitrary, they're whatever. We put the simple labels on things. People can recognize themselves as a Christian, as a Jew, as an atheist, as whatever. It doesn't matter. It's how they recognize. Now, are they consistent within what they're espousing out there? Okay, so if we were just to do it like off of Acts alone, well, then every single person within Christianity that none of you guys are perfect. You guys all do sin, even though that you follow that. So would that be a part of being a Christian? This fact that all of these people do sin. Okay, so let's throw that in there too. Is that okay? So a Christian is somebody that is fallible and somebody that does make mistakes. So does that mean now all of a sudden that why would the criteria of someone having to be perfect and act completely Christ-like now fall into the definition of what a Christian is? It's inconsistent within the position of what Christianity is. So from the basic definition of this is that what do we understand a Christian to be? Someone that believes in the religion of Christianity, someone that believes that Jesus is God, Jesus is man, or God made man, that he died for your sins, and that he died and was resurrected 3 days later. You believe in that stuff there, and that's it. If somebody actually believes in that, they're a Christian. Now, do I know whether or not somebody actually does believe in that? Do I know that Seamus or Deidre or anybody that does call himself a Christian actually believe in that? I don't. But I mean, that's the thing, is that it becomes unfalsifiable at that point in time. But that's the only criteria that I put on somebody being a Christian. Now, if you want to add all the extra stuff into it, the more you add into it, the less that the position becomes. The less meaningful it becomes.
Right, and it's not a fallacy to say that you don't meet Sokka's criteria, and he didn't call you that, right? Like I think you just have a misunderstanding of the no true Scotsman fallacy.
No, I don't.
You restate it again, but you're saying it only applies to the Englishman, the one that's lying, but that's not the case.
What I'm saying is, if someone is a Scotsman, and then you tell him he truly is a Scotsman, right? And then you tell him that he's not because of something, that's fallacious. That's wrong. That logic doesn't hold. He is a Scotsman by virtue of him being a Scotsman.
No, that's just a lie. That's not a fallacy. That's just a lie.
Hang on. No.
I think he's...
No, he's actually kind of got it at the moment. He's saying if you say somebody's not a Scotsman when they are, in fact, Scottish, then that would be where the fallacy is.
Yeah, he's right up to this point. This is all good.
Right, why did I get interrupted then?
I have no idea.
Somebody misheard you. It happens.
I think it was a misunderstanding with someone.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is not a fallacy is for a Scotsman to call an Englishman a no true Scotsman, because that by definition he's not a Scotsman. Okay, so an Englishman posing to be a Scotsman, and then a Scotsman says you are not a Scotsman, you're not a true Scotsman. That's not a fallacy. That's what I'm speaking of here.
Right. No,
that's in still.
Guys, he's right.
Sokka has advanced this to the epistemological problem, which basically says that is true ontologically, but how can you know? That's an epistemological problem.
So Seamus is right. Seamus is right.
Of course, I'm right in everything I've said so far, and I'm going to keep being right.
No, you're right about that.
You're right.
Yeah, because you've added in the ontology part.
But this is the problem. Is that okay? What do we define a Scotsman as? We define a Scotsman as someone that's born in Scotland. What about somebody that was born to two Scottish parents in the U.S. and then comes back to Scotland afterwards? Okay, I mean they weren't born in Scotland; they have American citizenship. But I mean they were only born there. Now they're living in Scotland again. Okay, so now is a Scotsman somebody that was born in Scotland? Or somebody that was, or what about? Okay, so what about the two Ethiopian people that have a child after they immigrated to Scotsman? That child is now born in Scotland. So what is a Scotsman now? Is a Scotsman somebody that was born in Scotland, somebody that lives in Scotland, somebody that has visited Scotland, somebody that has Scottish heritage? What are we defining as a Scotsman?
As I said in the sidebar, it's a matter of making sure that the person that's speaking is speaking in earnest and has a proper understanding of the definitions of the terms.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of there are some things that are much more easily defined than others.
This is why I asked you a while back, and I thought I had your point, Jameis, about you were talking about the ontology of what a Christian is. You're not talking about what we define a Christian as. You're talking about, like, I tried to use the word elect to try to get away from it so you understand it, and even Tommy tried to help with another term of being in Christ or something. But you're not talking about just what we're defining and labeling it as, and that's precisely what that No True Scotsman is addressing.
Yeah, the problem is that with that example, see, now Scotsman's pretty simple, because you can propose different ideas of what a Scotsman is, but you can define it pretty easily. You know, let's say that to the Englishman there, you know, the Englishman that's saying he's a Scotsman, you know, he was born in England, you know, to two Scottish parents. You know, he's, you know, English, but, you know, he moves to Scotland later on, so, you know, he has two Scottish parents and has residency in Scotland. Is that person now a Scotsman? You know, it comes down to how are we going to define what a Scotsman is. Now, within that, now you compare this to Christianity. What are we comparing? What are we defining as a Christian? You know, this is the part that gets difficult, because, you know, the same notion how there's multiple ways that we can take a look at what is a Scotsman. There's multiple things that we can look at it. What is a Christian? Now, this is why it becomes a fallacious argument, because what one group decides is that. So if the one group for the Scotsman thing is that you have to be born in Scotland to two parents that were also born in Scotland to parents that were also born in Scotland, you know, that is the only way that you're a true Scotsman. Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, that means that you're ruling out, you know, what, the first and second generation people that, you know, might have had a parent that immigrated from someplace else, that they're not a true Scotsman because of some random arbitrary thing that you've put onto the definition of what is a Scotsman. And the same thing can be applied to Christianity, is that, okay, well, if your little group doesn't recognize them as a Christian, well, okay, what does that mean? Who cares? If they recognize themselves as a Christian, if they meet the criteria of what they call a Christian, then they're a Christian. And this is why the No True Scotsman fallacy is out there, is that every single person has their own little subjective thing that they get to input into what is something, and then, you know, they expand that, say that anybody that doesn't meet within their criteria can't really be that thing. And it's just arbitrary, just subjective to the individual. Who cares?
Right, so simply put on it, it's just saying you don't meet my criteria of X means that you're not X. That's not the case, because if you define X differently, then you meet X. That's when it becomes fallacious.
All right, guys, let Seamus finish his point before anybody jumps in. Just to be fair, he is one of the only, I think, now the only Christian left in here.
No, please, I didn't know he was trying to talk.
Nah, it's okay. I actually don't want to repeat myself over and over just so I can build up to the last three sentences I wanted to say. So we'll just call it there, because I mean, I don't even know if I even got to repeat myself if I would make it to the end this time either. So, all that being said, I think yeah, I'm not interested anymore.
Okay. Anyway, on to other business. So, we got 29 viewers. If anybody in the chat wants to hop in, the link is out there. Let's see. Oh, okay. I think I got a new subscriber. That's cool. Anyway, I heard something happen in Tanzania recently. Some kind of shooting.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago or last week. Another Islamic extremist killed a bunch of tourists.
Do you mean Tunisia?
Tunisia. That's the one. Yeah, sorry.
Tunisia.
Yeah, Tunisia. There was some European. I think they were mainly European tourists that were shot. Yeah, on holiday.
Hey, has anybody heard any about the U.S. one that was where that white guy went in the black church and shot up all those people? Like, I don't know too much about the story.
Not Charleston. Yeah, it was Charleston.
It's actually been followed up by the burning of several other black churches as well.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. If anything else followed from it.
Yeah. Last I heard, there had been like, what was it, 6 or 8 of them?
It's about, I almost say it's 9 or 10 now.
Oh, there's been more. Good grief.
Yeah, For the last 2 weeks, they've been kind of burning like back to back. One of the churches was actually burned by the Klan, a couple of decades ago, only to be, burned down again.
This is what I was going to ask. Is it all been black churches? I mean, is there a good president say that it's racially motivated?
No,
it's clearly racially motivated.
Or is it against Christian? Like it's
been exclusively black churches.
Yeah. So good reason to say it's racist against these against the black, not just against churches.
Yeah.
Some people.
Well, I'm gonna be in Charleston, and Mount Pleasant around, let's see, August 6th or something. So I'm
but you won't be in a church. You should be safe.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be in a church. I will be visiting some of the. Well, there's a market square there where slave auctions were held, and you can actually still see some of the stuff. And there's a museum, so I'll take some pictures. But I guess I'll go over to the church too. But I'm basically going to go visit one of my blood relatives there. My wife wants to visit her blood relatives who live in that area too, because my son got to go, and it'll be right after the semester because my semester ends like a few days. Yeah, my semester ends like August 5th or something like that, and so I'll have some free time to kind of go and spend some time with folks and basically just fish at someone else's house.
Here's your perfect time to stick it to the white devil, right? Like go burn you down a black church and blame it on the white man.
Oh my gosh.
No, I actually like churches. I like the architecture of churches.
Well, they're pretty buildings.
Amazing. Yeah.
Oh yeah, some of them are gorgeous.
I may attend the service if it's not too long. Maybe I could probably sit in for an hour, and with a notepad and paper and just kind of write down some stuff what's being said.
I don't know, man. With your luck, it might turn out that that's Revival Week.
Oh man, I'm watching. Screw this shit. It's a youth revival. Nope. See ya. Not today.
No, I like even some of the newer architecture. I like it. Some of we have a mega church here that's in a tiny town, but there's probably more attendees to this church than actually live in any of the 3 towns around it. But just even the architecture, and it's beautiful. Like I like the old architecture way better, but some of the new stuff is pretty neat.
I think I've only ever seen 1 or 2 mega churches, usually on a documentary or some program on TV. I haven't liked the ones I've seen, but each to their own. But that doesn't mean, I'm not saying that all mega churches are hideous. I don't know. I've only ever seen 1 or 2. They've been very boring, I think.
Most of the ones I've seen are...
Hey, Scott.
But most of the ones I've seen are far too garish. They're very Six Flags Over Jesus or Baptidome, if you prefer. So they have this more modern look with the screens everywhere and this and that, and the old churches, it was the simple elegance of them that really made them beautiful. That, and you get to things like stained glass and this and that. But we don't run into that anymore.
Attention to detail.
Mega churches around here had them put in like it was like $100,000 frickin' fish tank.
Like exquisite, like really into detail of in the older ones, right? Like even the details have details, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean it was very intricate, but at the same point simplistic at the same point, and it wasn't this garishness that we tend to have in so many of these others. Now there are things that were certainly ostentatious, but not so much simply garish.
Sure, yeah.
And a lot of the mega churches, it's like they want to portray we are wealthy. Is almost the air that you get just looking at them.
I'm more concerned with the air conditioning, honestly.
Well, with the mega churches, the air conditioning is usually pretty darn good because they've spent a fortune on these structures. I mean, these are basically like indoor sporting arenas with the way that they're laid out.
Yeah, let me find you the picture, the one by me, and that's exactly what it looks like.
I gotta find my uncle. I think he is a preacher at some church near Atlanta or Lawrenceville, Georgia. So I got it because I see pictures of it from my cousin, his daughter, and this thing is just huge. And I think he's a singer there too. And I may go one day to visit them and actually go in there. And
so much for feeding the poor, right?
Yeah, I know, right? But that's another story. I mean, arguing with my discussing religion with my family is G-man, full G-man all the time. Like I was actually called a fag for by one of my younger cousins because I told his dad that he was my inspiration for joining the military, and this was all prompted by me saying that, you know, maybe you should have, you know, invite your dad to church. And so I got just some wicked backlash because I know that, you know, their father is a pragmatist and a skeptic. And so, yeah, it's really, they're not really receptive, just really closed-minded people. And I'm kind of embarrassed to be related to them sometimes.
Yeah, we all have relatives like that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Drag.
What's up?
Can I make you laugh for a second?
Please do.
Hopefully.
So you and I talked about that Whitney Kungle guy. Sorry, there was a bee by me.
Oh yeah.
So he does this thing called like the $1 Million Tract from like Ray Comfort. Well, he lives in Minnesota, and he did a video about he put a tract at Barnes Noble in the mall at Mall of America where I work nearby. I took it.
Wow.
I found it in the book that he put it in.
Wow.
So I emailed him like, hey, I got your tract. Now it's in my pocket. So yeah, what he does these videos. If you guys haven't seen him, it's pretty entertaining. He does these cowardly things where he just goes on YouTube and does these like maybe 4 to 5 to 7 minute videos about stuff. The latest one was, you know, porn is pure evil, but he won't come into a hangout. And D, when I did my hangout yesterday, which I had to delete because of co-host didn't really like I did that, he refuses to come in a hangout. I'm like, come on in. So I just want to make you laugh for a quick second.
You're going to have to make your own channel, Scott.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. And the problem is that, like, gosh, I got all these friends now on our show channel. I'm like, oh, I got to recoup like all these people the wonderful people that I've met. But I'll eventually do that.
Yeah. If you just put a link up, you know, or put something on the Positively Godless channel. Well, perhaps they won't appreciate you doing that. They might think you're stealing
they weren't too happy.
Yeah, but people will find you, you know.
Yeah, they'll find me. Yeah, but I mean, we had a good hang yesterday. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, it was actually. Yeah.
It was a good Roy rage quit.
Roy rage quit. Well, I had him on here yesterday.
Two seconds, just so I can take these down. Can you see these two? These pictures of this?
Yeah.
This is one of those. That's the outside.
They're a bit.
That's part of the inside.
Try to get Roy on
not
yesterday.
my cup of tea.
Okay. Yeah, please go back to Roy. I just wanted to take these back down.
My condolences to your brain cells.
Well, were you watching earlier when I had my mother on speakerphone?
No, I missed it, unfortunately.
No, I was in traffic.
Yeah, I was watching the Bigots on Parade show earlier.
I put my mother on speakerphone and gave her like a Royism, and told her like the whole thing where Roy wants people just to view him as a good guy even though he's an asshole. And my mother just went, you know, full, you know, no true Christian. And
yeah, she said Roy is a bastard and he's an asshole. Got a good snug on his ass.
I gotta go back and watch. I do like Roy. I will say I do like Roy.
I do too. I was just kidding. His mom wasn't that bad on him.
I used to say that I've grown tired of him and his antics.
Oh, I hate all that. Like, if that's what I had to deal with every time, then I would never deal with him.
No, he didn't like the fact where I told him, I'm like, you can't do your yes and no's in my hangout.
Yeah, he used to not be so bad, right? Like, he used to not.
No, he was pretty bad.
I don't know him. I don't know him from before. I only know him from recently. So I have no idea.
He wasn't much different, but he used to not be this bad. Like this is what you expect from him every time in a hangout now is something like that.
It's funny because my mother said that you know, there's probably something personal going on with him to make him do that, and I'm like, she has never met this fucker before.
She got him pretty spot. I thought she got him quite spot on.
Yeah, my mother's been around the block a few. She's actually been to Italy. Oh shit, that's what I was gonna tell Fabio. God damn it. I have an Italian on.
He's gone to bed.
Yeah. I'll get her on tomorrow, and when Fabio's back, I'll be like, hey, my mother's been to Italy. She said it was beautiful. My mother's been around.
I might want to rephrase that right now.
No, I'm not. But she's probably gonna watch this later.
Your mother's travelled quite a bit, I think, is what.
Yeah, I mean, she grew up during the '70s, so I'm not gonna have any illusions about what my mother did before she had.
I think I'm going to recommend eating pizza because I don't know that she's going to be in here.
She traveled a lot. Like to California. She grew up in Michigan. She traveled to California. She lived in California for many years.
She's been to Missouri, because that's where, or Missouri, Wisconsin, one of the two, because my grandfather was born there. And I'm from Louisiana, so obviously she's been in Louisiana. She's living in Mississippi now. We used to live in North Carolina. My mother, she doesn't like to stay still. Like, I don't even see why she tried to buy a house when she moves every, like, 6 years. Makes no sense. But speaking of which, I'm actually looking for houses near Austin, Texas, or somewhere around Austin, Texas, because I hear there's a pretty good progressive
Oh yeah, you were
hub of
saying the
people
other
there.
day.
But the houses there are fucking expensive. I
Yeah.
see
You're gonna move to Texas, move around that area.
I found some for around 300,000, but
Funny thing is, around Dallas, you can around where I live here in Texas, down around Dallas Fort Worth, I actually got my house for about 1/10 of that.
Yeah, that's what. If you can find around the periphery, you should be able to find
But
something
nowhere
under
near Austin,
300.
though. Nowhere near Austin, though. You pay to be in the better community.
Yeah, $5 million, and
Yeah, fuck that. Well, yeah.
Well, see, around like where Shadow, like, yeah, if you're in the area, you're talking a minimum of 300 or more. But you can get that exact same or double the size of it just by moving 20 miles out to the peripheral of it.
Yeah, and Dragnar, if you move to Scotland, you could probably get 2 castles for 5 million.
Well, yeah, but if you lived in Scotland, then you might not be a true Scotsman, depending on definition.
Seriously, you probably could get you get at least 1 castle for that price in Scotland.
I mean, I find a mortgage of around maybe 1,300 decent. Well, I think that'd be my limit though, because I want to try and have some type of cushion. I want 1,500 I could do easily, but that not anything above that. But even though that's still like at 30 years, so I don't know. I'm still kind of learning and gauging, and I'm just trying to get my wife on board with actually saving money so we can get a house, because apartments are cool. Yeah, saving money. This whole concept of not just spending all of it because the new game came out. But whatever. I can't talk because I spend money on ice cream and alcohol. And fishing supplies.
Oh, right, I was going to say.
Well, then what do you need a $300,000 house for?
To live near water, to fish.
I was going to say that you have a lake in your back garden.
Yeah, basically.
You see, Scotland, you've got the fishing, you could get a castle.
Yeah, you can get
You
2
might
castles.
have to get some winter clothes.
I don't think he has the $5 million to buy the 2 castles, though.
Yeah, not that $5 million.
You could probably, I wonder how cheaply you can get. Let's have a look.
If it's a castle, you can get some housemates, right? And you'll probably never ever see them.
Well, the fact that you can buy a castle, I think just being able to do that is just cool.
The problem is they're drafty as all get out. They don't have centralized heating or anything like that.
But it's a fucking castle.
Yeah, but that doesn't help if you freeze to death in the winter. Then you're a popsicle in a castle.
They love them with them giant-ass fire, but you're not going to burn down that stone. Come on. Just light a fire in your bedroom.
You get yourself a princess, you find yourself a dinosaur to fight her, or save it from even. Like, possibilities are endless.
Dear, where's my moat? That's the boy.
If you could get a lava moat, then maybe it would stay warm.
I can't even make a lava moat.
Don't forget about the
fucking
winches.
Minecraft.
Oh, no, you can get it for under $1 million.
I'll show you how sometime, Drag.
Here we go. There you go. Scottish castles for sale. Oh, one of the first ones, price on application. Yeah, you probably can't afford that one then. Next one's $500,000.
Yeah, but this is pounds too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very heavy.
Yeah, so times it roughly by 1.5.
So there's one here for less than 3.
See, what I'm more interested in the super yacht. Have you seen the prices of some of the super yachts that are out there?
I can't say I have.
You can pay I think something like 70 million for like the highest one. Or I've got to find it.
Oh, that's not a castle. That's an area.
No, quite a number
Salmon
of them aren't
fishing area. Oh, you could buy a salmon fishing area for 35,000. That doesn't get to be an actual castle there, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, so you can buy a couple fishing areas in a small house, right? And stock them every year for the price you're going to spend on a house down there.
Look at this one. It's not a castle.
You can buy me a house there too.
No, but
Andy,
seriously.
sounds like.
Look at this one. This one's so good. I'm going to post it in the comments so people can. Yeah, just put your ice cream down. Goodness sakes. This
Heresy.
I'm not even sure. This is that's a lodge. You could buy a lodge for 55,000.
What the hell is it?
That's pretty cool looking.
This looks like some shit people get sacrificed in.
Right?
Let me
Matt Slick's house.
Yeah.
There you go. 3 bedrooms, living room, kitchen.
I got you.
Are you gonna
Yeah, I got you. So you don't have to put your ice cream down.
Adjacent to Old Man Road.
Oh, have you?
They must have had me in mind then. Oh, good grief. Okay, now that I see it, good grief.
in there?
Yeah, that's kind of creepy.
That's like what we see around here is like the church's storeroom, or the youth center kind of thing, sitting outside the church. It's got to. I guess it's just attractive because the cool crosses and stuff in the stone. If you removed that, it would look just like a crappy shack.
I wasn't going to say anything, but okay.
Oh, it says it's 3 bedrooms, but yeah, I noticed there's like 2 of them are downstairs.
Seamus, it's whoever has that hangout going on. Come ask a Christian whatever.
Kent Rocket. Is that how you say that? Kent Rocket? Aren't you English?
Kent Rocket?
Yeah, English, not Scottish.
Same difference.
I'm not even going to. I don't want to alienate myself from all my Scottish friends. All 3 of them. And none of them watch this.
Kintrocot?
If my partner was up and awake, he'd probably be able to pronounce it far more correctly.
I'll just ask Fiona.
All right, I'm actually going to bail out. I just want to stop by and say hi quick. So,
thank you for coming by. We're just kind of hanging out right now.
Yeah.
But we'll talk again soon.
We'll plug your show before you take it.
Yes.
The latest episode we had Rand Campbell on.
Oh man.
That was quite an interesting interview, actually.
It was a very interesting interview. It went well, though. So, yeah, Facebook.com/PositivelyGodless, YouTube.com/PositivelyGodless.
Well. We got Positively Godless here. We want to thank him for being on the show.
It was a good interview. I'll talk to you guys later.
Take care.
All right, God bless.
Bye.
I just took the liberty there to try to plug his channel. I wasn't even thinking. Sorry, Dre.
No, that's fine. People can plug their channel. Anybody can plug their channels. I really don't care.
I just took the liberty without even thinking.
This one's right by the sea. Dragnot. It's different plots. I see. So it's not the whole plot. Talking 60 thou here. This must be fascinating for people watching. I shall stop.
People actually think that those are going to be sold, though. That's like, who's going to go out in the middle of the woods to be killed by some fucking hermit, you know? We spend 55,000 quid to go get killed in the woods.
That's Scotland for you. Most of it, there's a lot of remote places in Scotland.
I can imagine. Well, I can see that. I guess I don't know enough about the geography of the area. I can see that in Canada because there's just shit everywhere, and cold shit, and dangerous wilderness shit. I got that. But
imagine Canada if it was really, really small.
A bunch of dangerous shit closer to you. Like, I understand. Like, okay, the moose thing, those are dangerous. Like, I don't have dangerous animals here. Unless I go really near the water, I can't really think of
anything. Many dangerous animals in Scotland.
I don't know.
Scottish, but don't tell anyone else.
Yeah, Matt Bell maybe. I don't know. Other than that's just That's kind of weird to me. Well, then again, not really, because I mean, even in Louisiana, we got the gators, but you don't. Here's the rule: you don't go and fuck with the gator. Usually, the gator doesn't fuck with you, and that's cool. The moose is like, no, fuck you. I'm going to come wherever I want to, and run you down because I have sharp impaling thingies on my head, and that's just how it's going to be.
I mean, you get deer in Scotland. I'm pretty sure you don't get moose, but I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure you don't know.
There's lots of deer.
But they're talking about reintroducing wolves. I don't know if that's happened yet.
Why are they doing that?
Because there's too many deer.
Oh, okay. To kind of quell the population.
I don't know. Well, actually, the English do that quite well when they go up there in hunting parties.
I mean, I love venison. That's just
well, yeah.
part of my diet.
Well, there you go, Scotland. You can go fishing. You can go hunting deer.
I wouldn't be near anything that I even find remotely close to familiar.
There's some cities in Scotland.
As far as culture and whatnot.
You got Google, come on.
Yeah.
I got they've got a fine arts university there.
What more do you need? You can get Google, you can call up Japan and get one of those living sex dolls or whatever they're called.
Save money, don't need a wife anymore, you know.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, body heat. You won't get any body heat off a sex doll. You might need the body heat in Scotland.
Oh, Bob.
Maybe when you recharge them.
Your name here? No, he has not. I'm trying to see people's questions in the chat and whatnot. It's kind of hard because I'm doing this on the side of my my couch.
Oh, Bob. Okay.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, gotcha. When you first said it, I was like, no name here. What the hell is he talking about?
Oh, there's Fiona. I knew she was going to see that. Oh, man. Let me bring Fiona. Okay, so I wasn't going to say anything until Fiona responded. So since she responded, Arcane Logos took the liberty to use Google. And and I say that with as much condemnation as I can.
The hotel?
Yeah, the Christian hotel. So let me invite Fiona in here, and I give you a rough overview of what I just saw. So he took the liberty of trying to, I guess, debunk a claim that Fiona had made, and he prefaced this by saying, supposedly Fiona has a PhD, and so he finds that he gives a few examples of other people with PhDs, I guess in microbiology and other areas of biology, and they are giving examples of how cells operate like software and like machines. These are representations as to how they are analogous to things that we know and have already constructed. And I think that kind of escapes him because he's trying to find some connection with intelligent design, which I don't think he knows about the Dover case. But anyway, so she's already responded to him and given him, I think some illustrations, and it looks like a fairly thorough refutation. But I'd rather have her kind of divulge whatever secret she has to dealing with someone who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. I still love you though, Arcane, but you're pretty silly. Okay. I'm kind of at a loss, guys, honestly. I'm just here to host a hangout because I don't watch TV anymore. I've got little to nothing. I already cut up my fish.
What? No cooking?
Actually,
it's not good enough.
We can do some cooking. Let me get the laptop. Oh, fuck. God damn it. This thing is hot. Okay.
It's very technical.
About to say screw it and then just make a sock account and go in Nadia's hangout and troll people.
Well, and there's another hangout going on in One Way Apologetics that is called Come and Ask a Christian About Whatever.
Who is hosting that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it's full at the moment, but Peripheral Prophet's there. Sean, the Johnny
John,
number 5.
Yeah.
He's there. Little pink, what you call it?
Oh, Seamus said Raw's hosting it.
Is it raw?
Yeah,
I
that's
see raw in there. Maybe I'm just not up on his avatar.
it won't let. Does anybody have Fiona blocked?
I don't.
I don't.
Oh, okay. He says it's one-way apologetics, and from what he understood, that's Raw's moniker.
No, one way apologetics is not raw, unless he's taken over the account. One way is I get along. He's a cool guy, but maybe he's given up the account or something.
I really haven't had too many bad run-ins with Raw. He's just out there. I haven't. I can't really name a scenario where he's been funny. I'll say that he's just been kind of a funny guy. Dragon away. Huh.
Yeah, I get along with him rather well. Me and Sock have had a couple sit-downs where we actually had some decent talks.
I mean, he did. Actually, let me get him out. That's really weird because this thing is glitching. Okay, does Fiona have an avatar in here? No.
Yeah, and Seamus, he said one way apologetics, not raw. I bet he just heard raw apologetics or just saw a part in apologetics.
He might be associated with it.
But yeah,
I've got to get off. Anyway, guys, like it's getting on for me over here. So take it easy, everyone, and have a very good evening.
Have a good night.
All right, see you.
See you later, man.
So what the hell is going on with Google Plus today? Because it's doing that for Jacob, and now it's doing it for Fiona. It's really, really weird.
Like saying that they're blocked or not letting them come in, kind of thing.
Well, it just says not letting them in. I told us go ahead and
Apparently it says she's already in. She just
yeah,
put in a comment, so.
Yeah, Jacob was in, and then it's not letting him actually in, but it was showing his icon, and it's just not even letting Fiona in at all.
Well, we had a night like that, and Eve actually had to end up coming in under a different account because it showed over on the side that she left without ever entering the room.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it never showed her avatar, and over on the side it never said, Eve Real has joined the chat. Just at some point it said Eve Real has left the chat, and that was it.
Well, ladies and gents, I will go ahead and show you some of my cooking. I need to get back into cooking, and what I might do is just do a recorded episode, or maybe a live episode where I have my mother go over some of her recipes. They're very fattening, as you can tell. So
they're not her secret recipes, are they, Jack?
That's not really secret.
Oh, okay, just checking. I don't want you to be revealing her secrets on the internet.
There are a few secret family recipes that I found out about once I married into my wife's family. They have a really good recipe for macaroni and cheese where they use condensed milk and chopped up chicken breast and some other stuff. And it's really, 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 really good, like ridiculously good. Every time that we've actually made it for like Thanksgiving when I was in the service, or even when I went to go visit my mother, there was none left. Everyone cleared the table and cleared both pans.
Condensed milk. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really odd recipe, but I cut the fish I had up earlier, and so they've been soaking all day. Not really. The catfish my wife caught was full of shit, literally. And so as I was cutting it up, you can kind of see me in my my orange apron. I was smelling my hands because it smelled like fish shit, which fish shit is a completely disgusting smell because it combines shit and fish by the name, and it has this rotten seaweed smell to it, which really just adds a whole nother eel factor. What I was going to do is wait till my son got back because he's over my mother-in-law's house right now, and she hasn't contacted me, so I'm not going to say anything. So I'll stay there. I like my solitude. I love my son though. I do. I love peace and quiet as well.
Right.
Okay. So, what I like to do is get up. Shit. Losing my mind. Okay.
I eat a lot by the sense of my smell too. So it's like something smells like crap, and I associate it with it, or if it smells funky as I'm eating it, I'm not eating it.
Apparently, smell is quite important for taste, isn't it?
Yeah, it might taste fucking great, but if it's got that smell to it, it's gonna taint.
What's that stinky fruit? Isn't there? There's a really disgusting stinky fruit.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, that's like looking thing in it.
Isn't there a video of people are trying to eat it but they can't?
Right. Have any of y'all ever heard of I think it's like called a super berry or something like that? They were like yellow strawberries. They were genetically testing out to.
I've heard of white strawberries, but I don't know about yellow. They taste like pineapple.
No, I don't even know what they taste like. But essentially, you could eat one, and then you could eat a piece of crap, and it wouldn't taste like a piece of crap, right? Like it taints the taste of anything you eat to taste sweet afterward. Anything that's bitter tastes sweet.
I don't know.
It was being engineered to help pretty much like your kids eat, crappy vegetables that they wouldn't eat, so they'd get good nutrition out of bad tasting stuff. Eat more raw things so that it tastes good. Super berries, I think is what they were called, but the ones that I had seen looked like yellow strawberries. Essentially, I mean.
Oh, durian. That is the fruit that smells like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know Paul was watching. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul. Who's Paul? I don't know who Paul is.
I don't know either.
Yeah, there's a thing called a pine berry, which is like a white strawberry, and apparently it tastes a bit like pineapple. I just thought that'd be so funny if you got a bunch of mates around, got them stoned, and then put those strawberries out that tasted like pineapple.
You come up with some really creepy stuff. I'd hate to go camping with you.
Yeah.
Wilderness episode.
You got to get all the kinds of weird things right, because I know there's other things that look like something else or look like it's supposed to taste like something else, but it doesn't taste anything like it. I know there's some like red jello-y looking stuff that's Filipino food, but it tastes like scrambled eggs, right? But its consistency is like a red jello. You gotta get crap like that, fuck with someone. Lay out a whole different variety of things for them when they fucked up.
Oh, they're big. These white strawberries, pine berries, have been saved from extinction. So.
So they're Jurassic Park berries.
Yeah.
Okay. No one saw the movie. No one was like, you know what? Let's not resurrect shit. Let's just bring everything back. Let's try it.
It more just sounds like they were such badass berries that we just ate them all gone.
Yeah, pineapple flavored strawberries.
So those are my two favorite fruit, pineapples and strawberries. So I just was that the one that was resurrected?
Yeah, the pine berry.
Oh well, I rescind my statement then. My subjective sense of taste overruled my sense of logic in this case, and I will fully admit that.
I've never tried them. I really must one day.
I think it's
might grow my own, perhaps.
I don't really know how I feel about stuff being, I guess, resurrected, as far as like living animals.
Sorry, I hope you don't mind. I just shared the link with Shah, and she can't get in either.
What the fuck is going on?
I blame Sokka. Sokka probably has them all blocked.
Yeah.
I did go a little block happy earlier. My bad. If I blocked you, just send me a message and I'll unblock you.
I'll take you off. Don't worry about it. Just tell her to try and come under a sock account because they shouldn't. It's been giving everybody this fucking weird error, which is just really starting to piss me off because people are actually watching me clean a pan for whatever fucking reason. Is Nadia's Hangout that boring? I'm really going to ask that question because if you're sitting here watching me clean a pan to fry some fish, This is the next level of reality TV. This is real reality TV.
Real reality.
Yes, real reality, not scripted reality.
Hey, those things are called fresh. They're called miracle fruit berries.
Miracle fruit berries.
Turn sour to sweet.
Oh, the ones you were referring to, yeah.
Yeah. You can buy them on Amazon. Makes a lemon taste like lemonade without using sugar.
Oh, I think I mentioned those before.
Sweeter than onion.
Yeah.
I eat onions raw anyway. I don't think that's an issue. Not for me, at least.
These ones aren't like these. Looking at the picture of them, these don't look like yellow strawberries, but these essentially are the same things that.
Oh, a few people are trying to get in and they can't get in.
You wanna start a new room, Dragon Man?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, I'm gonna start a new room. Or unless you want to do it, because this episode has gone long enough, and somebody else can take a turn hosting.
Oh, it don't matter to me. I don't know that I can stick around the whole time, but it doesn't mean I can't start one and just give some people mod. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna start another hangout. Yeah, I'm gonna just see. How long are you planning on staying around Xbox?
Yeah, I'll be in and out for the next 3 or 4 hours, but like I just won't be constant. Like.
You
around.
can always give somebody mods.
Yeah, that's what you just said.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll start one up if it'd be easier for you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Or unless Saki, you want to do it on your channel, or.
No, same situation. I'm in and out, man. Like I'm gonna be here playing video games for the next while, but I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be like present. So.
Okay. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah. We'll get some other folks in. Okay, yeah, Xbox. Everybody, go over to Xbox channel. Put a link. Xbox put a link in the the video.
Well, if he starts it, yeah, I was gonna say if he starts it up now, he can. Oh no, he can't leave a link here. Derp. Never mind. Carry on.
Yeah, I can put one in here before I go out.
Yeah, put one in the external. If y'all want to come over and clean my dishes, that's cool. I only have a few, but my wife will be very appreciative.
I'm happy to do the washing up in exchange for somebody cooking. Of course, it might be a bit far to come just for some. Yeah.
Well, if you're staying for food, you might as well stay for other stuff. Just saying.
Well, yeah, that's true. Nip over for supper. It'll be breakfast by the time I got there.
I make a mean omelet. Lots of protein.
Yay.
That's what she said.
Oh, God, no.
Wait on someone to do that. Okay. I'll put the link in here, put the link in external, and yeah,
there you go.
Link in
here. I'll get it in the other places too, and I'll see you all over there.
Okie dokie.
How do I get? Okay, there we go. I'm going to put the link to Xbox's event in the comments. Yeah. So it is in the comments. Everyone go over there. We'll just continue this. And yeah, bye. Why are you still here? I should be seeing viewers going down. People are still here. I'm going to sit here until everyone leaves. There's still people watching this. Like, I can see the viewers. You people suck.